Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the old world. I'm one of your hosts, Gummo. I'm back here with Andrew, and Josh is back with us. How is everyone? How are you, Josh?
Good.
More importantly.
Oh, so much better. Feeling so much better and so excited to be back podcasting. I had a whole week.
Yeah.
Couldn't express opinions, couldn't tell anyone what I thought about Warhammer, and now finally I
back
can
on it. Plus stuff happened as well in that 1 week. We got FAQs.
So much happened.
You reminded us that you hadn't even talked to us about the Arcane Journal for the orcs. Like Andrew and I did a video on that. And so
I know.
I forgot how much. Yeah, you hadn't.
Yeah, no, it was so last week.
Yeah.
Things move so quickly in this world, doesn't it?
They do.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we were wondering what was in the Arcane Journal.
Yeah.
I know. We were like, we haven't had any articles for a while. I wonder what's going to happen. When's this FAQ coming out? With all these eternal discussions on the Facebook groups about these rule questions that never go anywhere, just circular. And now we've got the FAQs out, and now there's still rule discussions, so they're still circular, but they're different ones now.
Yeah, they're different ones now. Yeah, taking the top off, and then underneath, although there's been there's a few. Actually, I started to think about putting a list of other things to talk about. Sorry about that, guys. The dog was going crazy. You probably noticed a bit of a cut there. Yeah, sorry. How you going, Andrew? What were you saying?
Oh, my internet's going super slow.
As well.
So I might if I start going all funny, I'll cut the video.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So just let me know.
Good. Yep, no, it's fine at the moment. I know you've been having a few issues the last couple of weeks up there, Ray. The joys of podcasting.
I'm talking local member and all sorts of things. It's gone nuts. Yeah. The whole estate's gone.
Serious?
It's been gone for ages. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
well, before I get on to what we're going to cover and news and stuff, maybe that's a good segue into our Patreons who help us run this show a little bit and pay for some of Andrew's broadband. No, not really. But they do help a little bit. Yeah, gyrocopters. That's right. Andrew's gyrocopter fund, which is now up to $35 or something. So keep going. Anyway,
Thanks,
for those
guys.
who don't know what I'm talking about there, you'll just check out some of our YouTube. What was that? The FAQ?
On the stream the other day, the FAQ stream you had?
FAQ stream. Yeah.
Stream.
So check that out, guys, if you're not. But anyway, before we kick off too far, we just did want to shout out our Patrons on patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. We have a $2 tier, or whatever it's called there, just to, just get a little bit of funds in to help run some of the show costs that we do. We would do it anyway, but it always helps. Yeah. So if you do that, you get a shout out, which is what I'm going to do right now. I think there's a mix of free and paid guys in here, but I'm just going to go straight through them because we appreciate all of them. We've got Starkey, King of the North, Griff, Jess Tors, Wood Duck, Sean, Josh Griffiths, Ninanuum, Matt, Daniel, Jonathan, Gilthos, Cameron, Elliot Mitchum, Chris, Harrison Nuzo, Julian Diesel, Cameron Atkinson, and Richard, William Payne, Robert, Enchanted Johnson. There we go. That's the latest. I like that one.
It's so
actually
ridiculous.
It's kind of nice, but it's also double entendre there. I like it. Thanks, Enchanted Johnson.
A little bit more subtle than last week.
Yeah.
No, he definitely puts in a different, because you guys, I remember listening to this. I'm dedicated, Avatar. By the way. I was listening to the episode you guys were talking about last week.
Ooh.
They definitely puts in a new avatar each week that's like themed
it's
to
like
the
a star or something.
The name.
Yeah, because you guys can't see it, can you?
No, I look on the website and I read along when you're.
Right.
So
you're
along.
Smart. Yeah.
So I'm seeing the icon each week, and
it's
he
like
puts in the effort
or something. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's an an enchanting star. Yeah,
enchanted star. It's like a little wand thing, is it? Because I can barely see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a one thing with a little wavy
swirl.
sort of magic-y thing around it. Yeah. So an enchanted.
Did you see what the sooty? What was it? There's like suited fluff bottom, or what was his last?
The last week's one.
Yeah, I wonder
Oh,
what the
I
little
can't
avatar was for that.
Oh,
Sorry.
I can't remember. Yeah, I'll have to make more of a note of them. I have to screenshot them. Anyway, so we'll keep moving on. But thank you, Enchanted Johnson, Andrew McAllister, Bobby Gherkin, Gunwitch, Sean, Todd, and Chapstick. So there's about 29 or 28 guys there, or girls. I don't know. So thanks so much, guys, for that. If you want to join, as I said, it's patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. But otherwise, hit us up on YouTube as well. We really appreciate that. We cross-post from podcast to YouTube if you're watching it there. Hit the like, subscribe, and bell button. It really helps us as well. Outside of that, though, let's move on to what we're going to cover today. I think we're going to have a bit of a catch-up episode because, like we were just saying, we haven't talked to Josh for a bit. So we missed out on... Well, you missed out, Josh, on some of your feedback on some of the journal stuff.
I missed out on having my say.
FAQ, that's
what
right.
I think.
So we'll definitely cover some of that. There's a little bit of news around the pre-releases coming up. We'll cover hobby as usual. And then, just the Chi-Town Showdown at Shirecon is on this weekend. And Andrew's going out of us, so awesome, mate. That's good that you were able to. I can't, I'm away. But yeah, we've used our back channels and got hold of the lists a day earlier. Although by the time you're listening to this, I think everyone has them, so it should be fine. But we might run through a couple of them, plus Andrew's one, and just have a bit of a chat about it, and maybe a bit of discussion on how we think Andrew's going to go or how the field's going to go. It'd be good.
Too much pressure.
Sound like a plan?
Yep.
Very good.
We expect a podium, Andrew. You run a podcast, so, you know. Awesome. Okay, well, let's we'll kick into the news just briefly in terms of we are finally getting the big news. We're finally getting the unicorn this week, people.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally.
Bring this up.
The one model that I really wanted from the very start.
Oh, I know. Hey, and that just sort of disappeared. They never mentioned it. Didn't tell us when they were going to get it, so I just skimmed through the AOS. Oh, sorry, I'll skim through the Old World Marauder range, and move on to the Elise du Shahard.
Do
you think they should have at least finished painted the Steel Legion drab on the edge of that base though for the photography? Like, can you see that?
The little slight.
Oh yeah.
Sort of.
Just need one little extra piece of coat there, guys. But it's all good.
You're not critiquing any other part of the miniature painting.
Oh no, it's freaking awesome.
The solid color on the base. You're like,
about
guys,
you could critique.
You got to get that bit painted.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how much this girl is, I guess, and how big it still is. You know what I mean? Because it's a 40 by 60. Hey, yeah.
Yeah,
40 by 60. I can see why I thought this was on a square base. It's very confusing. It's definitely 40 by 60.
Yeah.
The rule.
And we'll talk about that base size when we get to the FAQs because I'm really interested to get your take, Josh. But
I think the Pegasus is going to be. Oh yeah. I was listening to you guys talk about that, so I was like, I really want to participate in this conversation.
We'll get there. Well, I mean, this is going to be this thing's just going to sell out like hotcakes. I don't think I've met anyone who wasn't going to buy it. Although I'm not saying isn't going to buy it because they don't like it. There's going to be people who don't buy it just because they don't collect Bretonians and stuff. But
and I think I think it is going to be quite large compared to the 6-head knights.
Yeah,
but I feel like most of the time it's not going to be run in the lance, so it probably won't matter as much.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like the height of it. Look, based on that's 40 by 60. That's the mount's going to be large. I don't think she's going to be that massive, but the mount itself looks really chunky.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's real chunky and big. Yeah, that's coming out. We finally get the actual Lord on Royal pegs separate to the box because the only one that you could buy at the moment is the BSB version of this guy. Hey, separate.
Yeah.
Are you going to get this one as well then, Josh?
Maybe.
We don't know.
I've definitely got the unicorn, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a guy on a unicorn. I'm on a peg that I'm
Oh yeah,
going to
yeah.
use
I mean,
anyway.
he
So
looks
I'm not
cool.
sure if I
like
mean, he is
helmet.
cool. He is cool.
Yeah.
Is cool. Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't even realize these guys weren't out yet separately. I just figured
Yeah, I
because
don't
all the
know.
skeletons were.
No.
Yeah, all the
Yeah, yeah.
Tomb King plastics are, but I didn't realize that
Yeah, I assume that
these
too.
guys weren't. I just didn't even know. But yeah, now when I saw them, I realized, yeah, actually, I haven't seen them in the shops. So that's cool. If people are
Yeah,
after
they've just
them.
been in the box.
Yeah.
But I mean, people
So-
that wanted them were just buying the box anyway. You know, like
Well, yeah, it's
the
way
box is
better
really good value. Yeah.
This, I should actually look. I mean, I'm just wondering if I'm assuming this comes in my starter box. I just never seen it. I guess it's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't
Pretty
really opened
sure
it up.
there was a transfer in the
sheet.
on.
Yeah, there wasn't there, in the starter box. I opened it up to take the rule book out. That's it. So,
What was that photo you had of the starter box of? You posted a starter box photo the other day in our chat of projects that you just hadn't started yet. That you were.
oh, did
You're
I?
looking at me blankly.
I can't remember. I post a lot of stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got the 2 starter boxes and this new other second skeleton on top of it as well, sitting behind me somewhere. Probably can't see it in the shot, but yeah. No, yes, I've got a fair. Oh no! I know what you're talking about. That's in my hobby section. You're talking about AOS ones that I posted.
Yeah, the AOS box.
Yeah. No, that'll be my hobby one.
Looks very dust covered.
Yeah, yeah. The Tomb Kings. This is so weird and good timing because the game that and Andrew and I haven't finished it. It's not his fault; it's my fault not being around. So we're halfway, actually, like 2/3 of the way through a game, and I'm running double casket. And I sold my second casket because I knew this guy was coming out, even though this looks like the old one, not the redone one. But
well, wasn't it just redone in that they added texture to the inside of the casket or something? Is that what you mean? Or?
Yeah, but yes, but I would have thought, I might be wrong, but I would have thought if they did that, they would have it open in the pictures, but maybe not.
Oh.
But maybe not.
Yeah, right.
So it's,
Wait, is that
can't open
openable
it?
or not?
Yeah.
Well, you can't open the one that I've got, but I thought when they redid this, it was done in a way that you could open it and see inside the casket. But I don't. Yeah, it's just because this one isn't that.
It says it in the text below it. It just says upgraded with new modified details inside the casket, so you can leave it unglued.
Yeah. So do you reckon this one? This is the exact one, but they just left it shut. Oh. I was just wondering if they would. Why don't they open it and make it different? But
why wouldn't they show off the new details? I agree. It's a bizarre.
decision. But yeah, in any case,
the one new thing that's been released about it, they haven't shown off the bit.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking this might be an older picture, but I don't know. I was literally thinking, because I didn't know this was coming out. I was like, oh, do I get Josh to print? Because I've got that Pharaoh Legacy and all that. They've got a different casket. And I was like, oh, maybe we get Josh to print a different casket than this came out. So I'm like, oh, cool.
Because you paid for that entire Kickstarter and so far you've only received two scorpions.
Yeah. No, I'll get more done. I just, obviously I've got enough on my backlog yet. So that's all good. Before I start my second Tomb King army. The Colossus comes out as well. I didn't actually know it wasn't out, but anyway. And then we're getting Orc and Goblin. Actually, the Orc and Goblin thing's interesting, and I didn't realize this till I saw this. So the Shamans are coming out. They're very old, hey? Like, I don't even remember these guys, but I won't get them. Some people will. So interestingly, I didn't realize that they've brought out both versions of the boys. So you got Orc mobs.
They're old school,
these must be the converted ones that you switch between double hand and archers do. But then down here, actually, sorry, it's not in this. It's on the list.
They're the mono pose, aren't they? Aren't they the old mono pose of the 4th edition?
Be 5th.
Yeah, because you can't swap them. 5th, yeah.
It looked pretty mono pose.
Empire Orc box. Oh yeah, sorry.
6th edition.
6th edition.
Yeah, but
swap their head out. That's it.
But they've also bring out, and I don't know if you'd have to read this, but you can also just buy basically orc. There's an orc mob and orc Araboy box, which is this one, and then there's just an orc mob one, which are I think they're a slightly different boy, just with the hand weapons and shields and stuff.
Mm.
Do you know those guys? I don't know where I saw the picture now. I thought it was in this article, but maybe it wasn't. Oh, I think maybe someone posted it on Facebook. One of the retailers posted the upcoming pre-orders, and that's where I went. There's 2 different Orc Boy box mobs, Boy mob boxes coming out, which is a bit weird.
That's a bit bizarre, isn't it? Yeah. I think they just have
which is cool because I actually prefer the other Orc Boys. They look pretty good, so I might get a box of the other guys because I don't really have normal Orc Boys. So.
Because they got spears and the different weapon options. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's hand weapons and shields or spears and shields or something like that, isn't it? That's the other one, I think.
The other one,
I think it's the same. I don't know. People will know because I didn't get these guys in 6 or 7, so I don't know the combinations, what they came. Obviously, we're getting 20 Black Orcs, which are cool if you need them, and the 10 Boar Boys. It's just good. These will be better. I feel better now that these have come out because I think the starter box sucks, but these, like the battalion box sucks. But being able to just say buy chariots, definitely people would do that. You know, if they want to get these guys. The Orc Shaman's coming out, which is cool, and then just the separate orcs. And then this was interesting. They're bringing the old Night Goblins out. Now, these are 6th edition ones too, aren't they? Or they're back in 5th or 6th? Yeah. Which is funny because the Night Goblins that are in AOS are 7th or 8th edition.
Yeah, the 8th ed, aren't they? Or 7th? Yeah, and they got re-released, but now they're going back to the 6th ed ones. Oh,
yeah, it's just bizarre, isn't it? They're just refusing to, even though they got the exact plastics. So I would not be surprised if at some point they're going to re-release the old Orc Mangler, for example. Mangler Squig, even though the actual Mangler Squig in AOS is by far way better.
What do you think?
For sale.
Once enough time has passed, they're going to re-release the AOS goblins and go like the ones that have been discontinued now, the 8th ed ones, and go like, "This is a new release for your night goblins."
Oh, probably.
Like,
They at some point.
Once enough time has passed between the AOS discontinuation.
Who knows? But I just found this funny. I mean, it's the first time they've actually had night goblins on, except for the resin Forge World.
Yeah, because I remember you guys were speculating about why they hadn't even mentioned night goblins in the previous sort of preview articles.
I wonder if they were having just a massive fight, whether or not they can just release the AOS ones and like, nah.
Because it's funny they weren't in the box at all. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't really have. Again, listeners can correct me because I literally, and we'll talk about this in hobby, that's what Josh was alluding to. I did actually end up buying a Vanguard set of AOS, which has 10 Night Goblins, does it? 10 or 20 Night Goblins in it. And I don't, because the only Night Goblins I've got are like 5th. What's the Battle for Skull Pass? That was 6th, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that was the start of 6th, was it? Yeah, because 5th ed was Lisbon and Draconians.
6th. Oh, maybe it was 7th then was the... Sorry,
7th. No, it must have been 7th.
Night Goblins is 7th.
Yeah.
But...
yeah, and then 8th.
I just had them because I was going everywhere.
Orc and Goblins, yeah.
But these are older than the Battle for Skull Pass ones, aren't they? These guys? But the Battle for Skull Pass ones were just the monopose ones, but then... So I've only got those guys. So I've never had these guys, and I've never had the AOS, like the 8th edition. I'll call them 8th edition Night Goblins, even though
call them 8th ed.
I'm not going to call them AOS because they're not AOS.
Well, they've got to be, because if you're saying the Battle of Skull Pass ones were 7th ed, then you had these release after that, and then presumably
I think these might
the
have
AOS
before.
ones. Are they before the monopose Battle for Skull Pass ones?
That's what I'm wondering.
These are 6th. No. Yeah, I thought these are the 6th.
Okay.
I think they are. I think the Battle for Skull Pass was just like, because they're just starter box ones.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So they've just
they're
made
so
them
bizarre. They're really not good. Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, in any case, I guess what I'm getting is, what do people, should I keep buying I'll call them AOS ones so people know what I'm talking about, but should I buy more Night Goblins that are the 8th edition ones or go back and get these guys. Because I don't really have. I've got a bunch of Archer ones. I've just got Battle for Skull Pass ones. So I'm just like, what's better? What's the general consensus? I guess everyone's different, but
there's some pretty good Highlands miniature prints for Night Goblins.
I know for just Night Goblins. Yeah, that's true too. But that's very true. Anyway, we will see. Then you got 15 Wolf Riders. I'm not getting these; they're crap. But
15.
Why not?
I just don't like the wolves. Yeah, they're
as in the models themselves. I thought you meant. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant in terms of the game. Yeah.
Well, they're crap except for maybe in the the new Arcane Journal.
So which ones are you running? Like, as in which models do you prefer? Like, which is it a new one? Like, I'm not up on generations of Goblin Wolf Riders.
I think these are the only ones, aren't they? And then I just like if I was going to run Wolf Riders, I'd probably use third party. Or I do like the AOS, those new ones they brought out. They don't belong in AOS by any means. There's no way those ones belong in AOS. They must have been done for 9th edition.
Is there an older school version of these ones? Or
there could be. I don't know. There'd be metal-y ones at some point.
There'd be metal ones. Maybe I'm thinking of those ones. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But these goblins are all the same, as half the sprue here is the same as these guys, Like the goblins, they're all the same generation. The shields are the same, all that. So, anyway, that's all coming out though. There's probably even more here that's probably not even listed.
Yeah.
But it's going
to be 20-year-old miniatures, all new, coming out, re-released.
Cool.
Some bizarre choices though. There's just those monopose orcs are just blowing my mind that they're coming out. Like, jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're not very special.
No, I just
certainly some boxes have aged a lot better than others. Like the Brett Six Head stuff is quite multi-pose and it's held up pretty well.
Yeah.
But looking at those orcs, it's like if all you can change is the head, like that's pretty disappointing. There's a lot better 3D printable options.
That's the thing. Again, it's one of these problems though. Like I don't know, it's probably my anal retentiveness where you're like, okay, well, but I've already got a bunch of G-dub ones. So like, and you can mix them, but and that's the answer. Just mix them, I guess. But at some point, I'm like, oh, do I not? I don't know. Actually, to be honest,
if you get the right scale, you can totally mix. Yeah,
I think the goblins, like you said, the Highland Night Goblins are good. I'm not sold on their, not them. I haven't really found just normal orc boys that I like.
Anyway, that's hard to get the right look for those.
They look a little bit more like they tried too hard to go into the G-dub side, and then it looks a bit because their stuff's usually higher res and it's newer. It looks, I don't know, even more cartoonish. Whereas Games Workshop just looks, they're just old classic figures. I don't know. It's just weird. But
it's harder to mix them in. Yeah, Goblins is a more classic sort of look. It's easier to capture.
Just cloths, and you wouldn't even know half the time.
Especially
are you guys? Are you getting anything, Andrew, or you're not? There's nothing in there that you're collecting, is there?
Nah, I'm saving up my pennies for dwarves.
When the dwarves drop,
Oh yeah. Should be not far off.
Won't be too far.
No,
yeah.
Who knows? I was just going to bring up, not that, I don't know if you guys looked at this much, but how do I reshare this? Hang on, sorry. No, it's annoying. You got to like stop sharing with this thing and add just to change the tab that you're sharing. It's a bit annoying. Actually, maybe I'll just share the whole window there. Not that I, before we get into tournament talking and stuff. Do you guys follow this guy's like how he catches all the stats and stuff? I thought the only interesting about the what's it called, Warhammer Old World win rates. He's basically going to start a new one since the fact dropped, I guess, just in case it changes things dramatically. When you actually read this thing, he basically says probably exclude any of the ones that actually have less than 40 match pairings anyway. And And this is only out
Yeah.
of what, Best Coast Pairing, Stats, Ladders, and Exon, which is interesting. I would have thought there'd be some new recruit ones to pull from. I would have thought, but maybe there isn't as many.
Yeah.
New recruit old world games. I don't know. But what
That's
I
what I
did
would have
find
thought,
interesting
yeah.
when I skimmed it is, I don't know, it's almost fairly balanced. It's crazy how it's almost, if you do exclude the lower, like Demons of Chaos, Lizardmen, because they haven't had many matchups.
Mm.
I don't know. It's actually kind of, because I don't know for you guys if you know or not. Like Games Workshop, the general rule of thumb is trying to get them in that 45 to 55% win rate. That's why he's got them highlighted green.
Yeah.
And if you take out those lower ones, you've only got like, on the edge, you've got Beastmen winning a little bit more than they should, but it's only 43 matchups, and then Skaven losing more than they should, but they've only had 44. Everything else sits pretty well, except for maybe
Yeah.
Khemri, which has a lot of games, and they're above that 55, but not a lot. But it's just Empire Man that's down the bottom with a fair few games and a very low, at least in tournaments, a very low win rate. Because I haven't paid any attention to it really, and I just thought, it's actually not too bad, because it could easily have been just all over the shop, especially if you thought, oh shit, dragons are, winning. High Elves, Chaos, and Tomb King should just be wall at the top. You know what I mean? And they obviously are up there, but they're not like 70% win rates or anything.
Oh,
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
legacy
it's
armies don't seem like
interesting,
they're
isn't it?
apportioned drastically towards the bottom.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
I would
which-
have thought like Bretonnia would have been higher too. And they're just right where you probably want them, like in the middle.
Yeah, I would have been like High Elves, Chaos Warriors, and Bretonians right up there.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
no, it's interesting, which I guess validates the whole process with the FAQ, in that it wasn't aimed at balancing stuff; it was just aimed at clarifying things.
yes,
I felt
yeah,
it was a bit
exactly.
premature
Let's
to be
just
balancing
be-
things, which
Yeah.
seems like a very valid approach.
Yeah. No, it just makes
Yeah.
me feel good about where it's heading, like obviously as you get more of these FAQs out and we get more games in, and more Arcane Journals out, potentially that might help. I mean, we don't know, but if Empire Man is indeed probably the struggling one, then maybe hopefully the Arcane Journal can address it if they haven't printed them already, if you know what I mean. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I know it'd be interesting to know how much of the Arcane Journals have been already written for the different army lists, and whether they've actually got Arcane. They actually made Arcane Journals for the legacy armies, like back in development, like they've got them or something. Like, that would be.
At least
I'd
like
love to know
drafts
that.
and stuff.
Yeah,
I
they
reckon
could easily have
would.
drafts.
Yeah,
Man, I'd love to see.
I mean, you see, there's all these little things all over the shop. You know how like some places it's like Beastmen, Bray Herds, and other times it says Beasts of Chaos in the, like you can tell there's so much stuff where they've like tried to do it all, then they've had to change it or they've pared it back, and not everything's things have slipped through. And like we were saying on the Arcane Journal video, it's got that whatever his name is, it's Swamp Digger or whatever. What's the troll shaman dude called? Can't remember his name, but with his little helper, like he's all in the Arcane Journal, but he's
drugs, Swamp Digger.
That dude, that guy. But he's not in the Arcane Journal as a figure, so obviously.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That
But they
thing was
later
printed.
released the figure. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but we saw that also.
Yeah.
We saw that figure months. Well, maybe not months, but it feels like months ago now.
It was a while
ago,
ago.
yeah.
I felt like it was at the initial Orc and Goblin sort of launch, like release sort of thing. Like he popped up pretty early on.
Yeah, so you would imagine
he did.
that book then was laid out and printed and photos done and all that way before then.
Which makes sense. I mean, you think about the time of any book developing, there's a lot of lead up time for that kind of thing.
It'd be interesting to. I guess we'll see after the dwarves too, like when the dwarf one hits. Because we hope it's a 4 week, 6 week after the orc one hits. Maybe I don't know. That's sort of what we're estimating. I think.
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know.
I'll be missing some pictures.
Yeah, and then we'll see how it compares to what we've already seen. Cool.
Yeah, we all get
Well,
excited again.
That's I don't know if there was any other news as such. It's just like I said, we're going to jump on some FAQ chat in a minute. But do we want to run through some hobby stuff then? Because you probably got a heap done, Josh, or maybe you didn't because you were sick. What did you end up doing?
Well, no. Well, I did get some done, but yeah, the first week, like as in last week, that I wasn't on, got no hobby done because I was sick.
Mm.
The one thing that stops me. I did end up getting some done this week though. Once I was starting to feel better. Where is my? Oh, does that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, cool. All right, so I'll just load up a photo. So mainly, I was painting up more of my dark elves, I suppose. Let's see if I can grab a
Screeny shot.
of it. Yeah. There we go. All right. There we go. Oh, that's not loaded in very well at all. Is that going to work? So mainly I was just working on basing up the crystals and stuff on them. I haven't painted them much.
Yeah.
And I've sort of finished the bolt thrower. Like this is probably all I've got left to paint of the dark elves in regards to the slow grow.
Yeah,
I guess. And this will give me enough to paint to feel like a 2,250 point army, roughly.
Yes, right.
Wow. It feels like you don't have that much though, and you're already up to that.
It's pretty small.
Nice,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty small.
Yeah.
One thing I would have
Elite.
liked. Yeah, very, very elite. Like I could easily try to do like some Marauders if I could find some Marauders, or Chaos Warriors or something as well. I mean, I might look at doing that, but at this point, it's a functional army, and I feel like I need to start working out what I want to do with Castle Assault, and if I'm taking my Bretonians there, trying to start to
for
get
old
that
world. You got to
ready.
start doing some old world shit.
Oh yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because that's only about 4 months away, and that's sort of the leading time that I kind of need to work on stuff for that if I'm going to do things.
Yeah, at this point you would take Bretonia. You're not going to do Wood Elves.
Yeah. I haven't looked at basing my Wood Elves. And to be honest, I think I prefer the Bretonian list in how it terms of plays at the moment.
Yeah.
For the old world, I think. But I haven't played the Wood Elves yet. But it just feels more like an 8th ed list than a 6th ed list. And I think I preferred how the 6th ed Wood Elves played, to be honest. But that, I mean, nothing wrong with the 8th ed Wood Elves really. But I think if I'm going to take an army to Castle Assault which is only 4 months away, I think I'll just take the Bretts because they're sort of ready to go, and I've been working harder on trying to rebase them. I haven't done any rebasing for the Wood Elves at all.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
In terms of base adapters and that type of thing, I mean, like I haven't got ready.
You're not
ready.
rebasing, you're more adaptering, aren't you? Except for things like the new Peg Knights that you've printed and stuff.
Yeah, like if I'm building stuff that I don't think I'm going to use in 6th ed, like I'm making new units now. And like, to be honest, the 6th ed lists that I've got probably aren't going to change very much from this point. So the stuff that I'm building more stuff that I'm adding will largely be based for the old world, I'd say. Like, I can't see myself ever running more than 1 unit of Peg Knights in 6th ed.
Yeah.
That's what, I'm never going to run a Royal Air Force in 6th ed. Like, it's not,
makes sense.
it's not fair. And like, the Lord on Peg as well is another one where it's like, it's based on 50 or 40s and 6. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm basing things for 6th ed. And for the old world. And like even the Archers. The Archers was one thing that I was unsure about a little bit because I didn't have like a block of regular Archers for 6, but I have just gone ahead and put them on 25s rather than 20s.
Okay. Yeah. But they skirmishers?
They can be. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
They can be. That's why I'm like, do I? You can deploy them as skirmishers, just like with your Tomb King Archers. Yeah, there's an option. They're open order or they're skirmishers. So I was sort of torn in that way, but I felt like I was better off just putting them on 25s because I haven't really felt a need to run blocks of Archers in 6th ed that much. I've got the skirmish unit. But yeah, I feel like I can get away with that. So yeah, I'll just put them on 25s.
Speaking of like trays and stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I saw a picture. Trying to think where I saw it. Must have been a tournament. I don't know where I saw it, but anyway, it was MDF bases just for some skirmishes, and I don't know if they're really built for playing. It was more maybe for when you just set your army up, but they were like 5, like they could hold about 5 skirmishes in them, but they were like all like, it's going to be hard to, they're like all wonky. So it wasn't like the 8th edition skirmish thing where it's all evenly spaced. They were like a bit.
Oh, they're like randomly sort of displaced around.
Yeah, and I thought they looked pretty cool. Like and then I went back to basics because they looked pure MDF ones.
They on back to basics.
No, well, I couldn't see them on there, so that's when I went. I thought I might just bring that up because someone will know. Hopefully, it can tell me where you can get them from or if people can make them. Because my Tomb Kings are all MDF. I'd rather keep them all the same. I don't want to use 3D printed bases and stuff. And then I thought, they look cool just to be able to like. Yeah, even just when you move your army and you set it up, you have it all on that. But obviously, when you're playing, you might take them off them. But you look at them and you go, yeah, they're skirmishes.
Or your display board sort of thing as well.
Yeah. Just the problem with those spacer ones these days, you sort of go, are they just on spacer trays or are they skirmishes? Because you can't tell at the moment.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are using spacer trays with their normal older bases.
Wait, so what's the connection between each base? Like, what is it, mate? Is it like a thin piece of MDF or what's the design
it
of
looked to be
spacing?
It looked to be almost full base, like rim thing, just with it cut out. So it must have been more of like a shaped, but it was squarey. It had square edges. I'll have to try to find the picture. I think it was
Very
like
intrigued
a tournament.
about this.
I'm intrigued.
And they had pictures of the different armies. So I don't know if it was on YouTube or I saw it somewhere. And they went, and it was only one of the armies. I think it might have been Beastmen or something, that had like Ungors or something. I was like, that looks cool. That's what I want. But yeah, they could have made them themselves. Yeah, I don't know.
Was the whole base was it solid or did it have spaces? Like was it like what I mean? Like it was clear. Like you could see the game board underneath.
No. It was
the tray, or was the whole tray solid?
Yeah, it was a solid sort of tray.
Sorry, okay, I was picturing something else.
It was almost like, I think, now I'm trying to remember, I'll probably get it wrong. It was almost like they had 5 different, larger squares that fit the smaller one in, but then they sort of joined all of them together in some haphazard arrangement and then just unioned it in the design program and then MDF'd it out, you know what I mean? Like they're just all these little individual squares, but they were touching each other because then they were actually one piece cut out, It's hard to explain.
Let's show me a photo of it. I'm struggling to picture it.
Yeah,
but I almost wonder, like, is it like you just got a big piece of MDF and then you can probably just use like little, not rings, but little rectangles to provide a slot for the base. You could just stick them randomly around.
Yeah, but then the whole MDF thing would be square then, or rectangular.
Well, it can be whatever shape you want, really. It could be circular.
Oh, yeah, but this wasn't. Anyway. So this was purely just square, like little squares all joined together, if you know what I mean. But they probably were bigger than a normal square because they had a small square inside of them. Yeah. But someone will find them. They must be out there somewhere. I should search Etsy. But
I want to see it. Yeah.
Show YouTube community. Assemble.
That's what's so good about having a podcast. Just mention it and we'll end up with 3 comments tomorrow. Okay, good. There you go. Someone Google it for me.
Yeah.
Okay. What drug are you on, Colin? Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, cool. Sorry, Josh. Just derailed your hobby.
So rude. So speaking of space adapters, though, that's a good, not the worst segue, actually, because the other thing I was doing, the other thing I was doing was I designed and put together some. This is for like units of 8 knights when you've got 2 on the end on the last rank. You know what I mean? So you've got a unit of 6 and then you've got 2, 1 on each end. So this is essentially so that I can base adapt, but also have 2 magnets So they're
Yeah.
relatively stable. Because I found that if I just had one guy in the end with a single magnet interfacing, that it was a bit like just a bit mobile. So this way it's pretty solid. The only problem with this design is that if the lance gets blunted, they're not going to like rank up that nicely, But I feel like I could probably work around that because I like this whole thing. Basically, listening, like I've got a single base adapter, but it's got like a little wedge coming from maybe a quarter down the base all the way down to the side that then gives me sort of 2 magnet holes, so that that's sort of like what's the word, just slightly adjacent to the where the model would be, so that being off the end of the lance, it gives him a bit more of a more solid attachment. But that wedge actually gives me a bit of modeling opportunity as well, because I think I can stick some, I don't know, some sort of terrain stuff on there, maybe a barrel or a flag or some weapons or something. I don't know, something like that on there. And I mean, I could totally change it up. I could make it bigger or smaller or whatever I wanted, potentially. I could almost use it as a unit filler type thing if I wanted.
You don't have any of them all. You haven't got any of them set up with actual figures in them to see what it looks like.
As in, what do you mean?
Oh, like those adapters. Like you haven't set up a whole lance, put them all.
Yeah,
together.
I have. I haven't got any photos
just
of it.
got a picture. Yeah.
Yeah,
be good.
I should do a photo of it once I've stuck magnets in those ones.
Yeah.
I'll set them up properly and the photos, and then I'll probably, as I come close to the end doing the Dark Elves, I'll start undercoating them and paint and doing the terrain and stuff, and getting them done. And I've got to do the banners on my Peg Knights and the Lord and whatever. Yeah, that's all going to start happening fairly shortly, I suspect.
We get some old world. I had one question about your Dark Elves though. Or Slanesh guys. What are you doing around the scenery part? Because I know you said you were going to try and build up a bunch of snow.
Yes, I want to do that too.
Oh, okay.
I want to do that too.
So that
It's still on my
yet.
list.
So you did that tower,
It's
didn't
still
you?
on my list. Yeah, I've built it, but I haven't painted it yet. It's constructed. It's sitting there, ready to be painted and modeled and stuff. But I'm starting to realize like I do need to start working with the Bretonnians, because I will be using them in the next few months. So it's starting to go off in priority. It's so frustrating because I want to do everything. With the other thing with the Dark Elves too is, this is my a contentious thing maybe, but I was wanting to get some Dark Riders as well. Now I bought the 8th ed ones last year when they were still in stock. I didn't really look at them. I just bought them because Dark Riders, probably need those at some point. Had a closer look at them the other week, and I'm like, these do not look like sort of the classic sort of old hammery Dark Riders, if you know what I mean. So the 8th ed ones look very different.
The Doom Warlock.
Yeah, they're the dual kit for the Doomfire Warlocks. And then the horses are all they've got massive armor chunks on their chests and stuff, and they all look quite menacing. To be honest, I'm actually on the lookout for some metal 6th ed Dark Riders, because I'm that's more the aesthetic that I want, to be quite honest, when it comes to just Dark Riders. I think I might use that kit for Doomfire Warlocks at some point if I end up expanding it into a proper Dark Elf army. But for Dark Riders, I think I just want a more classic appearance. I like the 6th ed elf sort of steed, and just some dudes. All I want is some elves on horses with a spear and maybe a crossbow. It's nothing too special. Because a lot of the army is already sort of a old mid-hammer 6th ed sort of theme anyway, so I'd rather try to stick with that if I could. Anyway, that's my hobby.
That's hobby. Andrew. Oh well, mine will be nice and quick. I just basically layering and doing some highlights.
You filth.
I'm a wardens.
You troll hammer filth.
Yeah, my little troll hammer filth.
Josh is dying out there. It's okay.
He's dying. I'll get them ready, and then that's me done. So hopefully tomorrow we'll have them.
That's it. That's the only thing.
So is that for this weekend?
Yeah. So yeah, I was trying to get them done on the weekend, but kids and
Yeah.
stuff.
They,
Try and
Were
sit
they-
down and do some
Those
painting,
damn
and they
kids.
come along and try and paint. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you can't paint because like, Daddy, can I help? You're just like,
Yeah, and it's funny. Like I don't really have a problem with them paint when my kids were little. They had a go
Yeah.
as well. It wasn't the painting because you always got a million shitty figures and stuff to give them. It's like opening and closing and not having them spill the paint pots, which was especially
pots.
G-Dub ones.
Yeah.
That was to me was the struggle.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah. And they can never open them themselves, obviously, because they will go everywhere.
No.
It's probably different if you had a lot of dropper bottles, but yeah, I didn't. So anyway, yeah. Is that what you've done? And then you've got your list ready to go then, I guess, which we'll talk about soonish, I guess.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I smashed through my
quite a bit.
I smashed through my backlog, my painting table backlog. I was sick of just where is my window gone again? I thought I had it open. Look at that. I thought I was all ready and I'm not. There we go. Where's photos? Photos. Yeah, that'll do. Because I had like a bunch of random stuff on my painting table, so to speak. Obviously, I have a lot of stuff that's half finished somewhere else, like everyone else does. Actually, Josh, you weren't. Well, you did follow the podcast last week, but I was talking about these resin buildings I got in.
Oh yeah, Tabletop
Yeah,
World,
I don't know if
man.
you saw
I was listening, going Tabletop Empire. What is it called again? I'm like, it's Tabletop World.
I know.
Tabletop World.
I think I eventually got it. That's tabletop. What is it?
You got it.
These
You
are
got there
not
eventually.
tabletop. These are not Tabletop World, but
yes,
they're not too bad, and they
look good. Yeah,
They just
look really
came.
Yeah, they look
and
good.
They're
Yeah.
all done. I didn't have to put them together. So I painted
You're
up.
going
one
to paint the
test
interiors?
Yeah, Andrew asked me that. Yes, not straight away. Not straight away. Yeah.
At some point.
But you can see it's slightly smaller. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what scale this one on the right.
I think
here
that's
is.
well fine for scale. Like on the table, I don't think that's going to be a massive problem.
Nah, it's probably better to not be a monstrosity anyway. So these.
I must admit the Tabletop World ones are closer to 32. Like they're actually gone through different generations, and their newer ones are bigger than their old ones. So that you might find that those cottages might be a bit bigger. I don't know.
When did we get? What was the dates on those things? July or something, wasn't it?
I have no idea. They've spent the last 2 months trying to design thatched roofs for the cottages, which look amazing.
Yeah,
but I think it's meant they're taking a lot longer to get their stuff done. But yeah.
Look, at some point you just don't. Yeah,
eventually.
They look awesome, but it's just like at some point it's a piece of terrain, But anyway, so what I did, I had all this random stuff on my table, so I was like, I'm going to get this bloody Sphinx done. So it was sort of a blessing in disguise that my wife got whatever you had, probably, Josh. It was just she was out of it for like the weekend, so I ended up just getting a good.
So you weren't by your bedside, bringing your chicken soup and fluffing your pillows,
but when they're asleep, you're just like, I'm sitting here smashed through a little bit more. Lots of little triangle painting on this Sphinx, but mostly, I was over him by the end. I was like, bugger him, but he ended up being not too bad. I'm not that great at the lighting
looks good
stuff, but it's good enough. So
looks good.
Pretty much done, and then. That's what you were talking about, Josh. A Gloom Spite Gits Vanguard box because it popped up at Frontline when I was there. It was just like they had no stock the other day, in Night Goblin-y stuff. And then when I went in there, I was like, oh, they've got one of the boxes in. Fuck it, I'll just buy it. Because basically with my orcs, I've got like Black Orcs stuff. What was that?
Every time Gommo walks in, the owner's just like,
yes. Oh yeah, I know. He's like, yep, he's this idiot. But it's just all this AOS stuff. It's the stuff that I don't overly have good versions of in my orc army. So that's why I was like, fuck, I'm just going to buy it. So now I've got like all good squigs plus some more night goblins. Obviously, hopefully people can tell me if I should be buying more of these night goblins or these new old 6th edition night golems that are about to come out, or print them. It's probably still the better option. So now I've got 6 of these newer trolls, which would be good when you join them all together. So that'd be cool. But then, let me just jump to this guy. Yeah, so I've basically finished the flying necromancer Hierophant dude, and 2 of my other Tomb Guard had to get done to flesh out that unit back to 24 or something. So that's done, and then that's just a picture of him in front of his Tomb Guard. And then I went, bugger, I'll get this little cottage. So I basically picked the small, that came with 5 cottages, and I just grabbed the small one just to test it out and got it done up as well.
Yes.
I'm going to do like different coloured roofs. I think you've done that, Josh, with yours. Like I'll probably do a green and a red, for some of the other buildings, just a bit different.
Yeah, but, I think you don't want to, it's a fine line between garish and doing it too bright in different colours. But if you can sort of mute it a bit, the different colours I think works really well. Yeah. I think that's a good
and I'm just doing these super far, like it's all contrast with a little bit of highlight, like, well, that's probably not totally finished one. That one's mostly finished. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, they look good enough that you put them on a table and,
Yeah, I think that's really good.
Especially because they're fairly, I mean, I don't think they're the best quality sculpts, but they're good enough.
And I like you going with the stone there that you've done different colours and the bricks and stuff as well.
Yeah, and all the stonework in the buildings, they'll all be pretty much similar style. So they'll look like they're all from one village, basically, hopefully.
Yeah.
I thought there was also... Oh, yeah, I did. I got the Orc Araboys done. Although this is a slightly old picture, I do have the eyes done. When I took this picture, I went, oh, shit, I forgot the eyes. So I had to go back and do the eyes.
Can't really see them in the photo.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's true. But yeah, they're done. Again, just all contrast really with a little bit of highlight. So it is quick to do them. So, and then these arrived yesterday/today, I think. The Night Goblin command set, Black Orc Big Boss, and the Orc tribes, the Orc Boss ones. But Andrew, you said you've got some of them, so I might send the Orc command ones back. Games Workshop just said, you just ship them back, reply paid, and they give you the money back basically. So, yeah.
It was so odd what you were talking about with the skin. You know that article you were talking about with they had the different the Black Orc sort of skin tutorial, and they've got all those weird terms about deep shade and soft shade and all that kind of thing. Like essentially made up these terms. Like these are not terms that I've heard of before.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
I haven't watched the tutorial about what it actually means, but I mean, there's just different ways you paint, and like I guess they've come up with terms for what they're describing it to be.
Yeah,
but it's like,
my first attempt didn't go as good as I wanted, so I'll have to. I mean, it's not that I would ever want to paint like that. Anyway, it takes far too long. But it's just at some point, just flexing the
contrast with some highlight. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah,
it's so quick.
Yeah,
I mean,
it comes up really good,
especially on different figures. Like, I'd question, and you can correct me if I'm wrong there, Josh. Like, at some point when I do a Bretonnian army, because I've now got Bretonians, how well do you think contrast would be working on like Bretonnian horses and stuff, though?
The horse itself would probably work pretty well.
Yeah,
the barding not so much.
Nah, yeah.
It tends to pull a bit. It sort of gets a bit messy, dirty, I think. Yeah. And it sort of works against you a little bit, unfortunately.
Yeah,
you can dilute it out and make it very thin and then do it in layers. But again, then it's just adding more work.
Nah, that's right. I'll just paint normally. Yeah. Well, that's a problem for another day. But yeah, that was basically my hobby, just sitting down and painting. And the great thing is, actually, I had 4. Is it 4? No, 5 Beast Snagger Boys to finish too, and I didn't get through all them because I went out on the Saturday, whatever I did, I can't remember one of them. Because, not that it's old world, but the Orc 40k Codex went on pre-order, and I'll buy it, not pre-order, I'll just buy it when it's in the shop. But at some point, I still want to get my Orc 40k army done because I bought it. It's just sitting in boxes. I'm like, if I'm painting orcs for fantasy, I can just sort of mix them together because I'm using the same technique, the same contrast, the same everything. So I'm like, it's a good excuse just to try and get that done as well at some point. So, yeah. Anyway, that was me pretty much.
That's a good amount of painting. And
felt good, when you've got like 5 sitting there. It's like, I'm getting this.
It's quite the set.
Yeah. You guys just getting pictures every like 2 hours. Boom, there's another one. Boom,
Yeah. It's like you've got like a tournament coming up this weekend or something.
Nah, well, there's just I'm the type of person that I can just do nothing for a while, and then when I get motivated, just get out of my way. Just let me finish it, like just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
So,
Was there a specific thing that motivated you though, or is it really
it's
like
just because it was.
where did the motivation come from? Is what I'm wondering.
It was purely because I just I knew we weren't going to be doing anything that weekend, and sometimes I like it when you know, at least for the Friday night and the whole day Saturday, we were not doing anything except for going out for dinner on Saturday night. So I went, cool, and I don't have pressure to do anything, and not that I have pressure anyway, but you know what I mean, like. You know, when you just know, it's like when there's a rainy Sunday and you can't do anything and you're just going to be in the house and you're like,
yeah, I love those
I'm just
days.
going to paint. That's all I'm going to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to feel bad about it. Yeah. So it was a little bit like that. Just the stars aligned just for that day and a half, whatever. I was like, cool, I'm going to clear this off because then I can start the next batch of whatever the hell it's going to be.
It's also like that when if you're alone in the house, everyone else is out.
Yeah.
There's no real pressure to do anything else but paint.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And, well, the good thing is too, technically I have a Tomb King Old World army now, all based properly. Like there's, whatever list I do, I might have to go, oh crap, I need to, paint 3 more skeletons, or like there's little things like that, or rebase, something else, or change something else. But it's not like I need to build a whole bloody dragon. You know what I mean? That's all done now.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've got the army. It's all based on the right stuff. It's all finished. And then it's just down to, you know what it's like. Whatever list you do, there'll be 1 or 2 things to do, but it won't be a whole bloody marathon. So it's only taken, what's the date?
Got the core of the army.
It's only taken a few months since it launched, but that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. Like this stuff does take ages. You know?
Yeah.
Really?
Nah, 100%.
A lot of dedication to get anywhere.
That's the thing. If you get one army done in this hobby, you're bloody doing well, aren't you? Most of the time.
Yeah. Most people have got 4 unpainted armies, it's the painting that really is the hard bit.
Yeah, totally.
It just takes a lot of focus and patience. Anyway, that's almost an hour and we haven't gotten to the main topics yet.
That's all good.
Oh.
That's what we're known for. It's only a 40-minute episode. It's cool. So, your FAQ, do you want me to bring it up and we'll just run through some of the stuff that you... You drive it. Like, you tell me what to bring up, Josh. What do you want to touch first?
Okay, well, hold on. Let me just see.
FAQ or the journal thing? Or not that? Was there anything journal-wise you wanted to talk about, or was it more FAQ?
Yes, there was.
As in
the
article
Forces of
or
Fantasy
the actual journal?
No, the journal.
Ooh.
The Forces of Fantasy FAQ.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
It's talking about the Orc and Goblin.
Not the Orc and Goblin Arcane Journal.
Oh, sorry. Now I get what you mean. I think you're talking about FAQs now. Yeah, the Arcane Journal, the Orcs and Goblin one was okay. Reading it, I was like, man, I want a nomadic war list. Maybe want to start some war boys.
I'm surprised given you're a Bretonian player.
That's why. I'm like, this is like just like a really hard hitting green colored Bretonian list, with some ambushing goblin riders.
It'd be kind of cool conversion, wouldn't it? Just like use a heap of Brett parts as well. Like this horde just went through and just wiped out a Bretonian army and just took up the shit.
Actually, a pretty cool idea. Yeah, have like random barding on some of the boars and some lances and some
just shields,
some Bretonian helmets on some of the orcs. And, this is. I could totally. That sounds like okay. You're selling me on this.
Yeah, you got a lot of spare parts there. I bet Bitsbox. You started a goblin army though, didn't you? Like, did you get anywhere with that?
Goblins, and it's frustrating because I got them sort of a third done. Some of them are quite large blocks, but they're all on 20s.
Yeah.
And now it's what do I do with them? But yeah, no, I still have those guys hanging down as well. So I may look at doing them. But I was just reading the book. It was just reading the Arcane Journal. I'm not saying I'm going to do a nomadic war list. Like I'm not going to necessarily build one anytime soon, but I really quite like the theme. And to be honest, now that you've come up with that idea for me, that would look pretty awesome if I could do that. But that would be a big job though, because that's a lot of conversion and
that'd be interesting. You know how I think I might have said it even last week. I was saying like at some point you want to do an army where everything is converted, like every single figure, and I feel like something like that would be much more doable because it's actually you're not really converting. You're more like bits. You're more like
kit bashing.
Kit bashing.
Bits on. Yeah.
I mean, the thing is with that army is, I guess my question is, would it be fun to play or would it be quite one-dimensional? You know, like we just because essentially just running it everything.
Yeah.
Is that different from Bretonians? I feel like Bretonians is a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
It's a bit more play.
Totally. Yeah.
This is like
you're
there's
planning
no
the charge where this one's like, nah, we're just going across the board. Second.
Yeah, we're just going across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, without much thought about it. Just super hard hitting, super tough. I do really like the ambushing close order or goblin wolf rider concept. Have a massive a massive block of like 4 deep wolf riders come on and just recharge something. With just like loaded static combat res. I think that concept would be funny and just sandwich it between the onrushing goblin, the onrushing boar boys, but and the Black Hawk chariots are fun as well. Yeah, I think it's it's a cool whole thing.
I think out of the two, it might be it's probably the more viable one. I think the troll one.
Is it?
Like the troll one.
The troll one was more viable.
Well, I think the stupidity and lack of I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here, but the lack of sort of speak magic, even though you can take. No, you can only take weird boys. Hey, yeah. Like I feel like you're not going to have like really powerful unless you go the all weird knob as the general, which I guess you probably would. You know, it's just all mostly stupid trolls, even though you hopefully are doing it on a better leadership. But
yeah.
I
mean, and the rerollable regen is
still.
Yeah, you're fairly tough, and the rerollable regen is a nice buff as well. Unless they're flaming, 100%. I guess. That's only non-magical attacks, isn't it?
Lore, but I thought it might be a bit. I don't know. It's the one I'm doing first, though. That's what I want to do. I love trolls, so I want to definitely do a troll army first, just see what happens.
Disappointing that you can't seem to get the troll lore cards anywhere.
Oh, that's just a joke.
Yeah.
That is just stupid.
I can't believe that is not in the army card.
That's
list.
another. That must be another reason how they've printed this before. Well, actually, I have no idea. They printed this. They should know. So it's just stupid.
Yeah, I feel like this would have been printed first before anything else.
Yeah.
You would have thought, right?
Yeah.
Like, because all the magic items are in that. Like, why aren't the spells? Like, what the heck? So you're probably you're better off getting it third party, like I ended up doing with the other spells, to be honest.
Basically,
probably the only way you're
hopefully,
gonna
they can just do like a small run of different types, stuff like that.
Because I reckon
there's no dwarf
Andrew
runes.
the guy in Canberra will probably do another. I imagine, like maybe next year or something, he'll be like, "All right, I might just do like printing off like random stuff from all the arcane journals." You know,
I think so. That's
and like he might do some full runs as well, but he might also go, "Okay, for people that have got the first run, here's just like a supplementary sort of pack." Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure how much work he wants to put into this kind of thing, but that I'd appreciate that. But it's crazy that you can't get the spell cards through GW directly.
Do you guys know? Talk about trolls though. It feels like a lot of people lean towards stone trolls as, I guess, the better option. Where I originally thought river trolls because they have the extra wound, but the stone trolls have a better save and one better leadership, and slightly less points for that, I believe. Have you guys looked at that? Have you guys got any opinion on that, or you haven't really looked at it?
I was looking at it the other day. I don't think I have an opinion on it. I need to look at that again to hold on. Can I just have you got it up there?
No, it's not. No, like it'd be in the other page, but I can't share. I mean, I'd have to shut all this down to share the.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, I've got it now.
Because I guess what really
Yeah, so
ask,
people
I've got
taking
6
something
stone
stone.
trolls, and I've got 7 river trolls, or 9 river trolls. But I'm like, okay, how many more stone trolls do I buy? You know. Yeah.
What way are they harder to hit? Is it because they've
Not
got
hard
magic
to-
resistance?
They're not hard to hit. They're.
What did you say?
Stone trolls
They
have a
were?
better
Extra wound
save,
for
maybe,
river
and they've
trolls?
got river
Better
trolls have a
save.
better extra wound, and stone trolls have an extra leadership. I think it was.
Oh, they're actually. Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh.
Which I thought was
mean,
not much of a big deal because you generally
Is
got
it much of a big
your
deal?
guy
Yeah.
around. You're not testing on 4 or 5 anyway.
Yeah, especially
Yeah.
now that in that list you've got a lot of ability for if you've got any other character nearby, isn't it? Like you can use.
Yeah, but they've got
leadership of-
it's a better save, isn't it? Don't they have? Is it scaly skin, and then they got some other special rule? The stone troll. What have they got? Read off their special rules.
Okay, well, Stone Troll's got armored hide. There it is. Yeah, okay. Armor vein, armored hide.
So I think they've got a 5-up save and a 5-up regen, or 4-up regen, or whatever it is. Is it 5-up?
Yeah,
4-up regen.
as opposed to a 6-up
Yeah.
save and a 5-up regen.
A 5-up. Yeah.
Well, so 1 pip more armor. Oh, is that?
Is that worth?
But
the
for a whole
extra
wound less?
I know. That's
But
the,
for 4 points more.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I was
I
like.
don't know. Maybe that's just good list running because I don't think that's a clear cut choice. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have a bit of magic resistance as well.
Yep.
On the Stone
Is-
Trolls.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing. So it just. That's
Maybe
why
it
I'm
does
just.
push you
I'll run
towards
both.
a slightly
Just have
cheaper.
both.
Like, is it? Yeah, but yeah, it's. I'm not sure going from 6 up to a 5-up save makes a huge
Is worth
difference.
that much. Yeah. Especially because most people are going to hit you
Yeah.
with at least something, AP, something. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I'm going to start thinking about
I guess the only
doing
other
a list
thing.
for them and get a troll
This is
hag
a
off
very-
Andrew.
This is a very specific thing. Is that multi-wound 2? Like both trolls are equally susceptible to multi-wound 2 attacks. You know what I mean? Because the stone trolls, you know, if a stone troll's got 1 wound left, isn't this right? That if it takes
Yeah.
a wound, the multi-wound 2 is lost. The second wound
Yes.
is lost because it kills the
Yes.
troll.
The second one,
Whereas the
yeah.
river troll,
We'll die
it would
anyway.
it would die anyway from this, even
Yeah.
though it's got an extra wound.
Yeah.
I guess I mean that's
Mm.
very specific.
Yeah.
Thinking
No, I
about-
know what you mean, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'd just be interesting to, start playing around with some lists and probably get a bone grinder at some point. I just don't know if I'd buy the bone grinder or just,
Yeah.
the other ones. But, yeah.
Sons of Behemoth
What do you
sort
mean?
of store.
The AOS guy, what's his name?
Oh, right, all right.
Bron, I don't know, whatever his name is. Anyway, was there anything else in the Arcane Journal that you...
Nah, not really.
Just all that, just the
yeah,
the fact that
yeah.
you're going to run
I don't want
Britannia
to.
and
I don't want to go too
nomadic
deep
wild.
into it.
Yeah,
I'd like to.
that is good.
Okay.
It's a good idea, but
One day.
that's an awesome
One day.
idea.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
awesome idea. Actually, I didn't even come up with it.
Let's look at this
I'd love to do that.
errata again, but we
Yeah,
won't
let's
go
get into the
fully
errata.
through it. What parts? Obviously, Andrew and I had some questions about the usefulness of the lance after some of this, but was there anything outside of the sort of Bretoni stuff that caught you by surprise? Because I don't think anything was in here. Actually, the biggest surprise to me, which I guess I'll ask you because you've got Cav, is the fight, like that every model gets.
I know, yeah, I was gonna talk about
Were
that.
you surprised about
On
that?
Earth, yeah. I mean, that seems to have caused a lot of confusion, really, because then there's all these people going, "Oh, there's all these
Trying to see
models
what
on
that
a
is.
base."
Oh, it's-
You know,
yeah.
that means that when things are targeting a model or these models can strike
Yeah.
and stuff, and it's like it's just caused a massive headache with all these rules lawyers. You know,
Yeah, well, because
and they're trying to take out rules as written rather than rules
Yeah,
as
yeah,
intended,
yeah.
and it's just like if they haven't defined it properly, have they? Haven't defined what a model is versus what a
Yeah.
base
Well, then they
is,
mention
and-
the word profile, where they say, like, it's got 2 profile lines. Well, if you go, the worst offenders are chariots. When you go look at a chariot, It might have, say, 3 profile lines for the chariot, the rider person, and the mount. But then in that profile line, we'll say how many of those things have that, and those are actual models. But you know, you got a base, you got multiple profile lines, and those profile lines have potentially more than one model for each one, and it starts getting a bit confusing as to what their intention was. I mean, I'd play it that they all get it then, you know, like my Tomb King chariots. Why wouldn't I line them up in 6 or 8 wide and go into something? Because I'm getting 4 attacks.
That's with that regard, that's pretty clear about that. You know,
I don't know where it is in here, but it's somewhere.
It's in combat. It's on page 3, bottom half of page 3. Yeah. It's pretty clear for chariots. Like, you just line them up. It's for sure. Like,
back in the line hammer.
It's just some of the confusion with some of the other rules interactions with this is just they haven't been consistent with how they've phrased what a model is.
A model and a base and a profile. They just need, this is where you sort of go. That's
because if suddenly they're saying
9th, they were really particular.
When something strikes a model, you know, it's like, you know, a fireball hits this model, but is the fireball hitting all these models? You know what I mean? Like, it just distributes across the different profiles then. Like, oh my God, it's so. But 9th was a very clearly written rule set compared to this. The drill thing was amazing, right? Like,
but we knew that all the time.
That's because I had a dream about it. That's the only reason you knew about it.
Right. Yeah,
I dreamt about it, and I was like, guys, GW is going to say you can reform, and then that's how it works. Came true.
Josh the prophet.
So I have a question about. It wasn't so much drilled as it was it fallback in good order? No, pursuit. When you pursue, you like when you follow up, is that they said somewhere that it's a pursuit move, is it? It's a normal pursuit when you follow up someone in a Fabigo, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the one they rewrote?
Oh, hang on. No, I'm just trying to think. It's around Swift Stride. Like Swift Stride, you add D6, or you can add D6 to all flee, pursue, and charge moves. Countercharge. So that's what it is. Countercharge. In here, countercharge is describes the charge. So therefore, the countercharge is, what is it? A D3 plus 1 move? For countercharge.
Sorry? Wait. Where's the countercharge one?
So there's a thing here that talks about can you use drilled? Maybe it's not drilled. It's something to do with. Let me search counter because I'll have to find it. Some amount of models have countercharge. Yes, countercharge is a rule that represents the skill. Maybe it wasn't that one. Here. Can a unit upon which Earth and Rampart has been cast make a countercharge? No, a unit that countercharges counts as having charge, therefore a countercharge is a charge. So does that mean when you do a countercharge, and your Swift Stride, you can add an extra D6 because it's a charge? I don't know, because isn't countercharge is D3 plus 1 or whatever it is? I've never done a countercharge, so someone will correct me, but it's something like that. But yeah, is this more like? Well, I think the intention is you don't.
I think it's obviously you don't. Yeah, the intention is not that.
It just seems funny when you know.
Yeah, you know the countercharge counts as having charged. And I would have said at that point, I'd be like, well, it's not technically a charge. It counts as having a charge, therefore to get the D6. But then, then you got the second half of the citizens. Therefore, it is a charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's a charge move. So I can add a D6 to it if I'm Swiss Stride. I don't know. What if people are going to pull that out or not? I don't know. Because you go pretty far there. D3 plus 1 plus D6. It's pretty far.
Yeah.
Countercharge.
Yeah. No, that's So ridiculous. Oh dear. They
Tell me
definitely
about
didn't
the
intend
lands,
that.
though, Josh. Unless there's other things you want to
Oh.
talk about in here, but
Have we got anything else I want to talk about? I was glad to see the step up supporting attack clarification was in
Oh,
there because
yeah,
that was a bit
totally.
ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like people were talking
Yeah, that
about
was.
spears couldn't strike because they were too
They were
busy
stepping
moving
up.
into the front rank
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. And then people going, but the people stepping up into that are not stepping into the fighting rank, so then
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can attack. Yeah, it became this big thing.
Yeah.
I
So,
like how
so
they
he,
just
I
described
love
it.
how they just like, yep, this is how he is. No further
Yeah.
questions, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Random movement was also another one I was surprised about. that
Cool.
they
Oh, the
essentially
how you can choose
massively
how far you
buffed
move.
random movement to be random maximum movement rather
Yeah.
than true random movement, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
Yep.
this is how far you can go if you want, or you can just go less than that if you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Obviously, they got rid of the flank charging shenanigans, which is a bit
Yeah, I
of a
was glad to see
debuff,
they got rid
but-
of that.
Yeah.
But the maximum movement thing is weird because it means that all the units in like the Mangler squids and stuff that don't have impetuous because they're random movement are arguably now more reliable in the movement phase
Yeah.
Yeah.
than things that have to test for that.
Yeah,
You've got more control over a Mangler squid now because you can
just about to
move
bring
it
them
a couple
up
of inches if you
together.
want.
I know, like
Yeah,
just
yeah.
bringing them all together is such a powerful thing. And
they were
also, I mean, I don't think it. No, probably not. I was just saying, like the fact that they clarified things like fly, move, is affected by magic, and that's just another characteristics. I wonder if there's some play there. Probably not with random movement though. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, I was surprised they didn't clarify Plague of Dust, in terms of speaking of that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's just
Oh,
missed
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a miss for me. I'm pretty sure they mean it just for armor, but
Yeah.
it would be quite funny if they were like, actually, no, we did mean that as
Every save.
debuffs everything.
They just use this as a way to get rid
What?
of what's it called? It's like AP too, because is AP specifically armor value?
I
Like,
think
as
it
in,
gets
like,
rid of
sorry,
armor
armor
save. I
save?
think that one is better phrased.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay.
It says armor save, whereas I think the Plague of
Gotcha.
Rust does say armor value, which is
Okay,
the
so
difference
that's
and
why that one
that's
hasn't
why
popped up.
it's such
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
yeah.
Says armor saving roll. Yeah.
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 But yeah, the Lance thing. Oh man,
Now that would be in the other. That's not in this one, hey. That'd be in the other.
it is in that one. No, the
Oh, it
Lance
is in this
formation stuff is in this one. Is in the next
Oh,
one,
okay.
which I also want to talk about. But the Lance one was something you were also querying, and I think there's
as in usage
still
of
confusing
Lance.
about. Yeah, in the
Yes.
for by goes, and then
Yep,
if you've got a round, it's like if you're switching weapons or not, and that type of thing.
Yeah. Where do you sit on all that?
Oh,
Or
where
do you
do
just
start,
think it
you know?
still need FAQs? I mean, at this
I
point,
think it needs.
I think I've gone not to what I said last week. I think I'm saying that if you're counting as a charging, you get to use Lance.
I feel like that was how I read it.
Yeah.
Like that where you've got or showing there where where
Yeah.
it says when can a model use the Lance? During any turn in which it charged or counts as having charged. Like that's unqualified. Like it's any turn
Yeah.
in which it
Totally.
counts having charged, which I would argue is even if it's a third round of combat and we've had a round where they've used hand weapons, I would argue that sentence allows them to use it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that other thing when they were talking about can't change weapons between rounds of combat, like the Lance has always been a weird exception to that whole structure, because you're always swapping to a hand weapon. And,
Yes.
in the second round of combat, even though technically the rules has always been you can't switch weapons. Like, it just
it's not
that's
like
what
the
happens
flail,
because it's a
which
Lance.
is the same weapon but just slows down.
Yeah.
This is like switching weapons. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there's never had the rules in the old, like the actual rule for the Lance in the main book. It just says it just switches to a hand weapon second round of combat, which is essentially the same as it's always been because there's never been an opportunity for a charge to occur during an ongoing combat before. So, which I think is why in the base rules they don't address it at all. But I feel like they've attempted to do it here by saying, in any turn in which it's charged or counts as having charged, you can use the Lance. And I feel like that's That's how. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah, and when I thought about it more and heard other people talk about it, I just realized, yeah, like I think the fact that they made everything stubborn in the sense that you don't break unless you fail. You're modified. Your unmodified leadership. This is a punishment for that. So even though someone's for by going and they can fucking reform, at least you get to smash them again with your, if you've got hatred, if you've got all that stuff, it would count as a charge, wouldn't it? So you get it again. Would you get hatred again, or is that only because it's not the first round of combat?
Oh, I think. Well,
Might
it's an
be how
ongoing
that's
combat, so I
worded.
don't think you would get hatred anymore.
Yeah, because the lance just
it-
says on a charge, not so much first round of combat.
you get hatred if you charge or not. It's just the first round of combat. So even if you're not charging, you still get the hatred bonus, right? Like it's the first round of combat.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So just because you count as charging, it doesn't matter. It's the first round of combat, which you would. It's pretty clear in the FAQ. It's a second round of combat.
Ongoing,
even
whereas
if
something
you're following
charge, a lance, or you're at least getting that benefit all the time, which I think is good because they may not have broken and run, but at least you can just keep nailing them. So I feel like that's initially I thought it'd be like, oh, this is overpowered. You just keep getting lance bonuses, but I'm like, well, maybe not, because in an early edition they would have probably broken and run.
They would have already broken at that point. They're not even falling back. Yeah, they're already broken and run.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's overly overpowered as such. What else was there? Oh yeah, so the Bretonian one. So where are we?
So that's in the other one though, isn't it? I need to stop.
Yeah. I did like the bedazzling helm nerf and the some of the dragon armor combo nerfs that they had. Some of them. I think
it's follow-up rule.
It's affected one of the lists in the Shirecon coming up. Actually, I've noticed.
They've got it at the moment still. Is that what you mean?
Well, just the way that list has used its armor build with the FAQ has certainly affected that dragon's armor save. That's what I'd say.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Has anyone taken the bedazzling helm on a dragon? In that?
No. This is more about the thing about having to use the armor save with the magic armor, but then you can't benefit from
that's
that
a whole
if you're not
other.
using it.
Like there has been some massive discussion about that, and on the Tomb King thing, and still that it's not technically clear in the sense that. I mean, have you heard about
in
that?
What way?
Well,
no.
in the way that
I thought it was pretty clear.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was pretty clear. What do you mean?
It's actually worse though. Like
worse. No.
that you have to use a magic. You have to use the magic items if you take magic armor, you can't use the mundane one, but because the other part of the armor, the combined profile thing, says you must use. It basically says you choose the best armor value out of the mount or the character, whichever's better. So they're saying, you could argue sort of rules as written, the dragons is better than the magic armor, therefore you have to take the dragon's armor, but because you have to use the magic armor or not at all, as the fact said, therefore you can't even use the item because you've ended up using the dragon's 4+ save. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, where was it written? Have you got it there somewhere?
We have to
can't
open
find
up the
it.
rule book.
No, the FAQ.
Now-
Where's the bit on the FAQ? Oh, there it is. Yeah, page 6.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about the...
So...
not invite. Now, the Tomb King one gets around it a little bit in the sense that the Armor of Ages, whatever it's called, is...
Oh, he's just saying in the rule book, so you've got
you're
to
not even
use the
getting to
magic
your
if you
save
have it.
before you're
Oh, I
using
see.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So you can't choose to use mundane over magic if you possess the magic item. Is that what?
Yes, but then how does it
the
work
problem?
when then the other combined profile rule says, where is it? Mounted characters, split profile. It may, but it does say may. This is where people are going, it's the illusion of choice. You may choose it, but you have to only choose one.
Yeah.
You have to always choose. You may choose either the mount or the character's armor value, whichever is better.
Unless it's a magic item, in which case you
Well,
have to use a magic one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where I would say, well, this is, this is true, but it's overruled, I think, by the magic item, which says, well, if
I
you
think
use the
it
magic,
is.
you got to use the magic one.
Yeah.
So therefore, you can't even choose the armor of the
No,
mount. 'cause it's
not if you've
magical,
gone for magic. Yeah, unfortunately.
But I mean,
Nah.
there is this little
Which
weird
makes sense. Like if you're
confusion in
paying for a
there.
magic armor, then you got to use it, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
It
Yeah,
just invalidates this sort of rule a little bit.
it does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the other funny thing that the Tomb King players are saying is, well, before I even get to do this, I've already elected to use my magic armor because I'm making them re-roll wounds. So now that I've used my magic armor, this doesn't even apply anymore because you can't use the mount's armor anymore because I've already used my magic item. That's how they're getting around it. Like, if someone tells me I can't use it, this is how I'm going to defend it. That's basically the dialogue at the moment. Because it's an armor that actually affects, re-rolling to wounds. You're not even getting to an armor save,
Oh, so you're saying that?
Well,
Wait,
if someone brought this up to
get it.
say, oh, you have to use the mundane because of it's the dragon saves better, the Tomb King player is saying, well, we aren't even choosing the armor yet because I've got magic armor. I'm making you re-roll wounds,
okay.
so
And
therefore
then-
I'm using the magic armor. And then now that I've used it, like there's no option to use the dragon's armor anymore because I'm now using, because the fact says you have to use the magic armor.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah,
using it,
that's
you know what I mean? So it's like this convoluted three-way argument. It's just like, God's sake. Yeah.
God.
But anyway,
Yeah.
fun.
I feel like if you've taken the magic armor, you have to use it. Like that's.
Yeah, it's just that one line in the written one that people are a little
Yeah,
bit like still
it's
going,
that
but
is
there,
really
it's
confusing.
not. It's saying you must use which one's better. It's like, well, I don't know. I feel like they would ban it from a ridden monster if they thought it was, if that was their intention. Like, I don't think their intention was put a 6-up save on it to stop them putting it on the dragon. It was to make them just have a 6+ save on the dragon. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, really.
So,
Because
anyway,
it
let's
does. It does reduce options in that regard.
Yeah. Let's jump over to this errata quickly because this is the, I don't know, like, so the lance formation I wanted to get a chat to you about.
I'm still stuck on this lance. I've been looking up this rule. So
are you? You're doing the lance. You're doing the.
yeah, I'm trying to
You're
find the rule.
doing
So if you're doing a follow up and you
Yeah.
only move 2 inches, don't you have to move 3 inches to count as a charge?
No, that's the initiative.
That's to get the initiative bonus.
I think,
Isn't it?
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
impact hits.
Oh, impact hits. Yeah, I think it's +1 per inch initiative
Up
to
to
max
3.
of 3. But yeah,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
impact hits is 3 inches.
So where's it say
Yeah,
that
This
impact
counts
hits,
charging.
you have to charge 3.
But
I think it might be
where's
under
the
for
follow-up
Bygo.
For Bygo. Gives ground, makes-
And I guess the problem is you need to have the FAQ because I think it's just not clear. That's why they end up having to FAQ the. Oh, and tomorrow they also confused it in the first FAQ where they wrote that stuff about like, only having time to switch out, drop your lance for a sword or whatever they wrote. I don't know. But they took that
Yeah,
out.
Yeah, I'm
they
just
took
trying
that
to-
out because that was massively confusing. Yeah, that really was really poorly written.
But what does the actual lance say in the rulebook? Have you got it there?
I'd put it in here somewhere.
Oh, I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Model whose trip type is cav or hold on. Yeah, cavalry monster only. A lance can only be used during a turn in which they wield a charge. In subsequent turns,
yeah.
or if the wielder did not charge, the model must use his hand weapon instead. So yeah, it is.
Right.
It's like
It's
it
mentioning
really does
charge,
confuse
not
things.
turns or combat rounds or anything.
Yeah, it's not designed around the concept of charging it after a Fabigo. Like it's just like brought across from previous editions. It's ridiculous. So I feel like the
I'm
FAQ
trying to
addresses
find it.
that sentence by saying you can use it if you're following up, basically.
But with the Swift Stride discussion I was just talking about before, with Vigo as well, like when you're for buy going, you can swift stride as well, correct? Because I think we did this with Andrew's game the other day. We were talking about it when we did it. Like it's not just a D6 pick the highest. It would be a D6 pick the highest plus add your swift stride if you want. Is that right? So Cavs and stuff doing a for buy go can move back a fair bit potentially because it counts as a flea move.
It counts as a flea move.
Yeah, with an auto rally.
Mm.
Oh, the 4 back in good order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because it's a flea roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think there'd be people missing that potentially and not act like, you know, I mean, like things like fast cav and you hit and then you obviously lose. Like if you're against infantry, you probably want to go, well, I'm falling back in good order, but I'm like hopefully way outside. You probably won't. If you pursue me or follow up, you're probably still not going to be in combat with me because I'll fall back further than you can get me.
That is true, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, so you actually get... So you roll 2 dice and take the highest, and then you add an extra D6.
Yeah.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
I need to play some cav armies to use some of this stuff. Obviously, with Undead, I don't even get to even do fleas. So I don't even... I'm missing this whole game.
I then go back and read some of these FAQs.
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Anyway, the lance formation though. Let's talk about this a little bit. It just feels like why would you even run a lance formation? I don't like. What are you getting
lance formation? My poor lance formation. It's really brutal. There were 3 possibilities that this could have gone. You know, they picked the most brutal one for the lance. The simplest one, I guess. Like, and I guess I can see where their point in that they're trying to, you know, abstract the concept of as the lance goes through the unit, everything else comes in base contact with it, you know, I guess. But it's gonna hurt, man. Like if you come up against a line of multiple attack dudes.
But it's supposed to be like hurting the person you're charging, not the other way around. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's like you guys are running in going, hey, can you guys just open up so we can come in and you're all surrounding us and then you beat us to shit? That's
right. You're not supposed to be beating us. That's right. We're supposed to be beating you and charging into you. You're not supposed to be striking back like that. Oh my God. Because it was either the full rank was in contact, or it would be only the front guy was in base contact, or it was
or the projected.
It seemed like the less likely projected 6ed. 2003
Yeah.
annual style, just straight up the sides, or 5th ed as well, which I wasn't expecting them to do because I felt like that was one of the reasons why they changed the lance to a square originally, was because there was always people like arguing about, is this guy in line with the edge of the lance or not, and it's hard to measure it, and it was sort of impractical. So I think that's why they got rid of the triangle in the first place. So I wasn't surprised to see that they didn't go that way, and I don't mind that they didn't. But yeah, the whole fighting rank is just like any line hammering going on is just really going to hurt with the multi attack. Like just like chosen warriors or witch elves or. It's like, it is only situational. It is. It's only multi-attack dudes that it's going to hurt. And, like, really, I'm going to be able to charge. It's on the charge to do, really. So I'm going to get, you'll have a chance to at least hopefully do some wounds to take down the number of attacks you're going to get back.
Take down that front rank.
But, it's it does reduce the usefulness of the lance to some extent. And suddenly it's like, it's... There are benefits to the lance. Like, it is more maneuverable. Like, you're only measuring the wheels from the second rank where there's only 2 guys. And, so you can wheel quite easily with it. It's quite a narrow formation still, so that means you can double charge with it pretty easily compared to a 5 or 6 wide cavalry block, The other thing is, it is easy to get a lot of attacks in still as well. Like, if you've got a unit of 8 Knights of the Realm, you charge them in, everything but one of them is striking. Whereas if you had a block of 4 wide by 2 or something, you're only getting 4 or or 6 attacks or whatever wide you make them. It is still easier to get a number of attacks in with a lance. So I feel like I think it's still my preference. Is it necessarily a bad thing that the lands isn't an auto take? You know, like that's the other thing. It's like, should it be a case where you don't always necessarily put everything in a lands formation? I think maybe not. Maybe it is something where there should be pros and cons to it.
Sort
You
of
know,
matchup
maybe it should
dependent.
be.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Maybe it shouldn't be an auto take necessarily, but yeah. So like, I'm philosophical about it. I guess.
Does the do those like the not what are they called? Knights of the Realm, yeah. Those I guess the units that can take or be in a lance, do they have access to drilled?
No.
Okay.
No drilled in the
Yeah, that
entire
would be
army that I can remember.
Yeah.
Apart from, maybe the yeoman guys on foot, maybe. But yeah, no, I don't think so. Yeah. So
That
no,
would have
none of
been
the
interesting
knights
to see,
can.
to be able to like switch between it
Oh,
and charge depending on
that would
who
be
you're
cool.
charging. Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
that's
lose a
so
whole
much
turn
total write-off
changing
then.
formation. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, one thing I really want to talk to you guys about, though, because this has confused me, is as much as they've clarified that that is the full fighting rank of both sides. The second paragraph left me so confused. I should read it out.
Yeah.
Oh, the dead ground bit.
Note
Okay,
that this
read
can
it out.
create an area of dead ground between the lands and the units engaged with in combat with. If any enemy units are caught within this dead ground, refer to the rules covering accidental contact on page 131 of the rulebook. So this is the dead ground between, where the edge of the lance is and the theoretical space between that and the fighting rank of the enemy unit. Now, it doesn't really. So ostensibly, this dead ground extends from the edge of the enemy unit, right? Like, so there could be quite a wide area, right? Like, if it's quite a wide unit that you're charging, that dead ground, isn't it going to be diagonal, or would it be straightforward?
I think it's straight
because you guys are both.
That's how I
because
would.
it's a full fighting. I would have thought that too, but the more I think about it, I'm like, well, it's the full fighting rank.
Yeah.
I don't think in their in their silly head they would have like had them lined up perfectly, and they would have had 5 here. And then just, and so they're, do you know what I mean? When they say full fighting rank, it's like the 2 guys on either side of the lance, They're not thinking of Linehammer with 50 people across the board. Because none of their examples ever show anything that is remotely what you see in game half the time. So,
Okay. Well,
you were saying maybe it was going to be like diagonally from the base of the lance all the way.
From your
all the way
30
to the
wide
edge of the unit
to the
30 wide unit.
Nah, I don't think so. But I mean, accidental even if it is, it's, I guess what they're just saying is if shit moves around, particularly with give ground or whatever, and it bumps into something, then use the rules of accidental contact. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. So I mean, putting that aside, like, so what does that mean exactly? Because I was a bit confused. So does that mean is that like using the accidental contact during a charge rule? So is that essentially means if you're charging a unit and there's a unit like in front of them, and that would be in the dead ground if you were to charge it, does that mean you then have to redirect your charge essentially? Because that's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. If you make actual charge with a unit that's not fleeing, you redirect the charge into that unit. So does that mean you have to charge that unit instead? Is that what it's saying? Like, that's what I was confused about, what the significance of this paragraph is.
The other thing is it depends on what happens with the if you go back right to the beginning of the accidental contact, it says if a unit's contact in its front arc and it's not itself engaged, then it can do that stuff. Otherwise, if it's accidentally contact its flank or rear, move it aside by the minimum amount necessary. I wonder if it's more that part.
Okay.
I guess there's a couple of options here. Yeah, like there's the scenario that you've charged the lance and you're able to push that little one guy right in, but there might have been some other small skirmisher or something that's sort of now stuck in between. But if you didn't touch them, then you've made contact with your original target, and then that's just all good until one of you have to give ground or not. Like if that unit moves, that combat moves, then potentially it's going to bash into this little skirmisher or lone character, whatever it is that's hanging out in the middle. There's that, or
Right.
there's
Right. Okay. So it's more talking about that because there's a whole thing about accidental contact during a charge, and it sounded to me like the dead space was considered to be contact, and that's why I was like, is this actually going to change some of that?
I thought that.
whole
I mean,
dynamic?
it could too. I think it's all technical because remember, like a follow up. Well, it's a pursuit move, isn't it? Sorry, a follow up's a pursuit move, not a charge. Oh no, but it says it's also counts as a charge. So
It counts as a charge. Yeah.
I mean, it's still. I think it almost those two things start working together. It's like imagine if you're in combat and then you win, and the enemy unit falls back, and then so you go to follow up, but this other unit's now in there. It then would, my view of it, then it would appear to be depending on if that unit's engaged or not, and if it's the flank or not, you'd have to then potentially push it out of the way or make contact with it, which means you've actually charged it not on the front of your guy, but like a side of your lance has hit it and declared.
Yeah, so you're saying it's rather than as a redirected charge, it's more
really
that
need this
you end up
diagrammed
you end up charging both units. Like if they decide to commit to combat, because they've got the option in that first part of the actual code of either committing or giving ground. So
that's only if it's in its front.
Yeah, in the front. Assuming it is in the front arc and they're not already in combat, they would have the option of either giving ground or committing to combat with that unit as well. Yeah. Is that how you play it? Rather than being like a redirected accidental contact during a charge, it would just be regular accidental contact. Yeah. That's interesting. So that would also mean, does that mean they just align to the edge of the diagonal lance? Like, how do they align to the lance? Like,
I don't know.
Because the lance doesn't. The lance isn't blunted because it's made contact at the front, and it hasn't been, like it only gets blunted if it's a disrupted charge or if it's in combat and its front guy isn't in frontal contact. Yeah. So if they align to the lance, they would actually be like just diagonally, just like squished up against it, I guess, which is the exact situation they were trying to avoid by making the blunting.
The only thing is this accidental. You're right though. This accidental contact during a charge though does say if the charging unit is able to wheel to avoid and complete its charge, it should. So I guess there is that option too. That if someone falls back and you can sort of wheel and move where you made contact with the other unit, so you can miss that.
Yeah.
So that could be an
that's
option.
true. Yeah. Yeah, and it is a pretty maneuverable thing I was saying because you can wheel quite substantially because you can measure just off the two guys. So I guess that'd probably be a way around it. But yeah, I was mainly confused about whether you would use the rules for accidental contact during a charge or just the accidental contact rules because it is during a charge.
I think you've got to use this whole
what does it mean?
bit, then come up with I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what's your thoughts then, Josh? So you're thinking it's the entirety of the enemy unit. Is that the way you perceive that? The frontage of the enemy unit. So you think you're going to have this, in a line hammer situation, you're going to have this big triangle of dead ground? Is that the way you're going to interpret it?
I thought that's how I thought that's how it read. Like intuitively, I was thinking it would just be straight up in front of the lance. But then when I was reading other people's interpretations, I was like, oh, actually, that does make sense. It is just the front rank, right? Like, but it does. It is like that's what the dead ground is. It's between the two fighting ranks, so that still makes it.
Well,
although, like I must admit,
doesn't mention
it's an abstraction, isn't it? Because it's supposed to be into the unit, right? Like they're abstracting like it's penetrating the unit rather than spreading out and contacting the entire front
it only
rank.
makes
So
a difference.
you could argue it's not that.
Cause issues. You know what I mean? Like even if it is that big diagonal thing you talked about, you're not going to hit that other. Like you're never going to make accidental contact with a unit that is out on that other side, unless potentially, I guess, you lose combat and you get pushed back, and then that other unit following you up runs into that other thing. But then it's just, I feel it's just normal accidental contact anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was because it sounded to me like if it's in dead ground, that's considered contact, and that's why I was like, "What is this? Going on?" But I think their intention is it's just straight in front of the lance. If there's a dude there, they can either come in or come out. I guess.
Okay, sorry, I might have maybe you're saying something slightly even more than that. Let me just go back to the FAQ. I always thought it was just saying use the rules for accidental contact if indeed you do contact.
No, they're
Any
just inside
enemy
that
units are
dead
caught
ground.
within this, refer to the rules
Inside
covering
the arc,
accidental
yeah.
combat.
It's considered in contact if they're in that dead ground zone. You don't have to touch the unit.
Yeah, it's just what you'd consider the dead ground zone.
Is that? Oh, I don't still
If
read
it's
it
going to
like
be
that, but I
the
get what you're
entirety of
saying.
the
Yeah.
fighting rank.
I don't think it is. Like, I probably wouldn't play it like that. Really, it seems ridiculous.
I think it's going forward because it doesn't say fighting rank in the note. It just says between the lance and the units engaged combat with.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mention it's the entirety of the front rank. I think that's just a.
Yeah, but I
It
mean,
depends
even
on
if
which way
it's
you wanna
not that or
perceive
is
it.
that, I'm not convinced. Makes an area of dead ground between a land. I mean, the fact that they say dead ground, but then what does dead ground mean? If any units are caught
Well,
within
they
this,
just made up
refer
a
to the rules
concept.
covering accidental contact,
Yeah.
which I get, but then accidental contact says stuff like if it's contacted in the front arc. Well, nothing's contacted if it's just sitting in there. Like my brain went to, just treat everything as accidental contact if it indeed the things bump into each other in the
Yeah,
process
no,
of
it's
that
not that.
combat.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
if it's not that,
It's just
then
it's in that area. Yeah.
it's just it's in the dead ground. It doesn't have to be contacted, which is again what made it so
Yeah.
hard for me to work out what they were meaning.
Yeah, I still don't
How to play
know
this.
if that's right or not. But anyway, oh well, see
Yeah.
what people say. Yeah.
Good.
And I guess the other thing is I haven't played any
Ambiguous.
Bretts yet. And you've played like one, have you? Or two games?
Yeah,
Josh?
yeah.
Like, have you
But
run
just,
into this?
not many games. Well, I haven't played a game since this has all come up. Like, this hasn't been a
Yeah.
thing before. Yeah.
But you
I'll
didn't
see
run
what
into any
happens.
issues with things between anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
that
it
you
hasn't really
wouldn't-
come
yeah.
up. But the thing is, it's like if there's a specific rule gathering it, does that like is? I'm interested in working out if that opens doors or windows for people to counter the lance. Like if there's a way
Yeah.
of forcing redirection and that type of thing by being in the
Oh,
dead
yeah.
ground, units straddling each other, so that
Yeah.
you can't charge this because that'll cause dead ground for that unit, and then you have to engage that unit. That's sort of what I was more interested in terms of the implications in that regard.
I just don't think they're that
Be
far
very
in advance. I reckon
gamey.
they're just like, oh, we've got this
Yeah,
rule that talks
yeah.
about things bumping into each other, so just tell them it's that.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've spent enough time on that one. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just us though. Like, a lot of people have been talking a lot about these FAQs, and then after a while come back and go, oh shit, it's they haven't addressed this, or now this has opened this can of worms. So it's just the typical rules discussions,
Yeah.
which is fun. Do we want to just quickly touch on? Well, what do you want to, Andrew? Do you want to like talk about Shirecon and what list you're going to take, and
Yeah, let's crack
maybe
on
we
with
can cover
Shirecon.
a few of them and.
Yep.
Oh. All right. Let me bring up my list. Where are we? So.
Or do you want me to share the list?
Oh.
Or can I do that? Or, no, I guess I can.
No. Oh, you can if you've got it on your screen. I'll get
I
them.
might, because for people who are
Fine.
watching, it might be a bit clearer.
So funnily enough, I was going to have a look at my list quickly and then go through
Yeah, your opponent, which is one of the other lists you wanted to talk about.
list, which
Is that
happened to
right?
be Vamps.
Is that the list you were drawn against? Was that what it was?
Review just
Funny.
happens to be my game one opponent.
Oh, it does.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Funny.
So my list quickly, I'll just go through it. So obviously I'm taking dwarves, as probably most people know. I'm running the Anvil of Doom naked as my general. I was considering putting some stuff on it, but in the end I just didn't have the points with what I wanted to bring. So I'm running a Thane. Here's my BSB, running the Rune of Stromny Redbeard. The fantastic little rune, that one.
new bullshit banner.
That gives the new bullshit banner. So everybody within his command range basically can add 1 to combat res for that unit. He's got 2 runes of shielding, giving him 5 up ward. I'm running 2 units of dwarf warriors, 118 and 119. They're all got hand weapon, great weapon, and shield. They're both running drilled. They've both got a rune of battle, and one's got a rune of courage, because obviously I need to take us. You can't have two of the same runes, so that's why one's got a rune of courage, which basically the battle rune just gives +1 combat res, and the rune of courage just immune to fear and terror. So the good thing about those dwarves is obviously drilled, hand weapon, and great weapon means that I can, you use whatever weapon according, and obviously a shield according to what sort of fight I'm in. I'm running 2 stock standard bolt throwers. I'm running a grudge thrower with the rune of reloading and rune of burning. So rune of reloading just means you ignore anything on the misfire table unless you blow up. So like basically if you've got to wait 2 turns, you don't have to wait 2 turns. You can just shoot straight away. So that's pretty handy. Running 2 gyrocopters with a clatter gun, 1 gyrocopter with a steam gun. I'm running 17 longbeards with, again, the exact same great weapon, shields, drilled, and just hand weapons. So mastering a hesitation, so guys charging it, obviously you don't get certain bonuses for weapons and whatnot. And then rare, I'm running 3 units of Iron Drakes, just a 5 little Iron Drake darts. So they're running the Iron Warden champ is running the Trollhammer torpedo and Cinder Blast bombs. So it gives them a bit of punch with Cinder Blast bombs in a if you got stand and shoot, because the Trollhammer torpedo is obviously if it's within its movement, you can't utilize that. But the Cinder Blast bombs is quick shot, so you can. So that's why I got that.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's a little bit anti-large. I was trying to go with the meta, and obviously the 3 units I figured can hopefully hold the center for a bit. We'll see how this Ample of Doom goes. Yeah. And shooting's not too bad. I'm not a huge fan of and a lot of people are saying the same, just with the war machines at the moment. Just across the board, like, a lot of stuff has lost a bit of punch. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And my opponents,
which vamp is the is this down the bottom? Is this Scott's?
Yeah, the very last one, Scotty's. So Scotty's bring in vampire counts. So I'm assuming it's his general, because I don't think it says actually on here what his general is. Is his Master Necromancer. So he's running Spell Familiar, so he can take an extra spell. Scepter of Denorit, which means he can double cast his raise spell. The Flayed Hauberk, which is heavy armor that wizards can use, and it gives him a 6-up ward.
Nice.
The Necromancer Acolyte, he's got a hand weapon. The Master Necromancer is level 4. Acolyte's level 2. Dark Magic, it's got Hand of Dust, which is pretty good. It's an assailment spell. 2d6, strength 5, I think -2 AP. So that's a bit scary. I'm assuming those two are going to be together in a unit, and the Acolyte's going to be a bit of a guardian over the Necromancer. Got a Strigoi Ghoul King, everyone's favorite, running level 2. It's got Talisman of Protection. I think it's a 5-up ward, and Lord of Night is he gets D6 raise of like dogs and fellbats and things. He's running on a Terrorgeist, so that'll be running around. Then we got a White King, who's running hand weapon, heavy armor, charm shield, a cursed armor, which is +1 toughness, but I think it's like -1 initiative and weapon skill. So it's going to be toughness 6. This guy, Sword of Might, which is +1 strength, so that's pretty good. And Helm of Commandments, and I think that gives everybody in his unit plus D3 weapon skill, I believe. So that's pretty good. He's running Crypt Ghouls, unit 12. Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Dire Wolves, unit 5. 25 Graveguard running hand weapon, heavy armor, and great weapons. I think they might have shields as standard, possibly. Running the Drakenhof banner, so they're going to have a 5-up regen. And these guys have obviously going to have this White King in there, giving them a high weapon skill. There's a little zombie unit, which I'm guessing is going to have his necromancers in it. He's running a corpse cart with the warped tintinabulation. And I think that gives him extra resing of guys, I believe. So I think on like it might give you possibly, I forget. I think it helps res, like you get like an extra, you can res like extra guys with it. The Fellbats, he's running 5 Fellbats. So that's going to be a little bit scary for my war machines, 5 Fellbats, because they've got 2 wounds each. So it might be a little bit hard to get through all them. And he's running a second Terrorgeist. So yeah, is
double Terrorgeist.
a little bit scary, this Graveguard unit. Yeah, the double Terrorgeist is going to be hard to get through. So that's probably where all my shooting is going to be
Is that
going.
quite flammable?
Yeah, all vamps are.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if the Terrorgeist is the one by himself. I'm guessing he is. But I'll have to check.
Oh.
So yeah. So we'll see how we go. Obviously, don't want to give away too many secrets, but obviously it's going to be probably shooting the biggest stuff. And I don't know. I'm just going to have to cop the combat with this Graveguard unit.
Oh yeah, but I mean, yeah, like I just feel like providing you can get, potentially at least 2 of those units in, plus with your Stromny, you've got a lot of combat res, and it's deceiving. Yeah, it's pretty easy for something like a Terrorgeist to come in and then just whiff shit as well and go, oh fuck, like even the Graveguard. But I mean, there is 20. Yeah, great weapons.
Yeah, it's a big unit.
I don't know.
Terrorghasts aren't flammable.
They're not.
No,
That's the same as my Necrosphinx. Then that's annoying. Yeah, because otherwise the Troll Hammer. The good thing with those Troll Hammers is, if you can, like being on the receiving end of them, when you take a bad first turn or something, oh shit, I really need to get in combat here. Like I need to.
Yeah.
I can't just fly around and set everything up. I need to get in because I'm just going to get nailed by these things. But
probably the one problem you've got, yeah. Because obviously the rest of his arm is going to be a little bit slower. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. He might try and go around the sides and all come in at the same time. But yeah,
we'll
see.
Try to use his fly to get around, I'd say. But yeah, the rest of his army is pretty slow. So yeah, I would use that to your advantage. And yeah, I think you're almost right. Your static combat res is sneakily good.
Yeah.
By the look of it, the +1s and the rune of battle and all that. Oh my god, that adds up quickly.
Now he does have like 2 screens, and he's got, depending on how many, he's got 3 necromancies, so he might end up with a lot of leadership debuff spells.
Yeah, I know.
And if he bubbles some of them, you can probably do some damage pretty quick.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, we'll see how we go. But yeah, I think the only chance I've really got is if I can get rid of the 2 Terrorgeists before he gets to me with his Graveguard block, I might be in for a decent chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I can't get those Terrorgeists down and he's in my face, then I'm in a lot of trouble. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, but I mean, but see, your Gyro, like, there's nothing that can, apart from his Terrorgeist chasing around on the Fellbats, but your Gyrocopters might be able to be flying around really blocking stuff and causing havoc to stop him getting across the board with those Graveguard.
Yeah, for sure.
What does the Corpse Guard do?
I can maybe block some stuff, but it's
helps.
I believe that one it helps raise. So you get like an extra. Yeah, I'll have to look it up because I think one of them helps raise and the other one helps take like gives an extra indomitable or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So you take less crumble. I'll need to look that up. I didn't look that rule up, but I looked the rest of it up. I was like, oh, it's a pretty solid list. So
Yeah.
pretty good. What'd you guys pick?
I'll let Josh go.
I was looking for Bretonian lists to see if they were going to pop up or not, and there is one here. I think it's sort of halfway down. Yeah, Jeremy Brody's list, which is a decent list, I feel. It's got a Duke, obviously. I think it's a standard Brit list. I don't think he's taken any exiles or anything. Yeah, no, it's just standard. But it's got a Duke. It's an interesting build with a Duke. He's put him on a peg, which I think is a good option. And Virtual Nut, it's gone for Virtual Nut of the Tempo, which is the hatred with the extra D3 attacks on the charge, which I think is a really good virtue. Interestingly, it's gone for the Heartwood Lance, which is the one I think that gives you +3 strength and AP on the charge, which makes him like strength 8 on the charge because he's base strength 5. So it's like that's it's interesting. Like it's very high strength, but it doesn't have any multi wound attack or like multi slaying. So it's like he's paid a fair bit for that. It was interesting to see how much value he gets out of that. Then it's got a Paladin that's with a BSB, I think. Yeah, with a Banner of Shalons, which I think is the one that you can't stand and shoot against. Or maybe I'm thinking of 6 Ed off the top of my head. And then he's got a level 4 Prophetess, just on battle magic with no other sort of magic items. And he's got 3 units of 8 Knights of the Realm. And 2 units of 10 Bowmen to make up his core. Which I think is a decent sort of core. Like he's actually spent quite a bit on that core. That's a big amount of core. Like it's well over 700 points of core.
Yeah.
Like he could have gone 2 units amount of Knights of the Realm and then spent that extra 200 points on something else. But I mean, the Realm are solid. Like they're at the counter charge. They've got a decent amount of hits on the charge. I'm not sure by themselves. Like I feel like you sort of do need a double charge to really crunch through a unit, I feel, or have them supported by something else, maybe the Duke or the Paladin. But yeah, that's his core. Then he's got 1 unit of Peg Knights with nothing else, no commander or anything. A special, just unit of 3. And he's got, to make up his rare, he's got 2 units of Ground Knights. Yeah, chunky. A unit of 6, just with full command, and a unit of 5, again, just with full command. So no other sort of magic items or anything on them. And that's the whole list. Like it is relatively small.
Well, the peasants aren't going to do much.
He's only got the peasants, which are probably not fast enough to act as chaff. You know, I found that's the problem with move 4 peasants that don't move. You know, like you think they might be chaff, but then they just don't do that job. So he's got nothing in that regard.
Horn either. I thought that was going to be a staple.
Well, yeah, he might have been able to squeeze it onto the PSP, I would have thought. But yeah, I'd be keen to squeeze it in because for all your flyers, like it seems like a very good counter. So yeah, it's quite a hard hitting list, but the lack of chaff, the lack of chaff might make it hard to necessarily dictate the combats and outmaneuver his opponent.
The thing is, he's got 2 Grail Knights and then like the 3, like the Peg Knights as well, but then the 3 other ones. So he could probably use one of his Realm Knights to,
as chaff.
Yeah, a little bit if he has to, and then just come in hard with the others.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do that though, you would have been off with like a small unit Knights Errant or something. You know, a unit of 8 Knights of the Realm is like it's a pretty significant investment to be sacrificing.
13 points.
But it's very in your face, very hard hitting. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. The other one list I was looking at, which is more slightly ridiculous, was the High Elf list, the Frank Ansel's list, which is like so 2 massive blocks. I'll get to it. It's got an Archmage, level 4 Archmage with a few magic items: Sigil of Assyrians, Silvery Wand, Seed of Rebirth. I think that's like I think Sigil gives you like essentially a dispel scroll. Silvery Wand gives an extra spell. Seed of Rebirth, I think, is a 5-up regen. Then it's a noble with a sword of Hoeth and a ruby ring, and then again a seed of rebirth. And he's a warden of Safari. Then another noble. This one's on a griffin. Again, we see the rebirth. He's got a lot of regen going on here. The salesman oppression for 5 aboard as well, and a great weapon and full plate armor. And then he's got a prince, again with a great weapon on a steed, and barding with a dragon helm. He's a general, armor of Calidor and pure of heart, and he would probably be going into the unit of 20 silver helms with full command in the war banner. That's the entire core. 20 silver helms, 523 points. That's so
Love it.
Special, 1 unit, 27 sword masters. Banner of Iron Resolve, which I think gives you stubborn. With the champion, he's given Cloak of Beards, which causes terror. And Obsidian Loathware, which I think is combat magic res -1. So that whole unit is like almost 500 points, and he's got 2 Great Eagles. There's a bit of chaff going on at the end. So I would imagine that Swordmaster block is just all these foot characters are going to be in there, except for the general on the horse, and he's got 1 noble on a griffin flying around with the Great Eagles. It's so ridiculous. Like
It's similar to like this
how
Death
it's
Star thing
functional.
we're talking about, hey, though. But like, where
Yeah,
to get, I mean, if you kill the characters, it's good, but otherwise you got to chew through, 80, 75% of these things to get any points out of them.
Yeah, for this stubborn block with terror. And I would imagine he's probably going to do what Nick did to me with the Archmage, which is have that Swordmaster block be ethereal half your time. You know, if you can get off the spell. It's just so ridiculous, even more ridiculous. I mean, I'm really not sure how competitive it's going to be. Like, I don't know. Like, there's essentially 2 units on the table. Like if I feel like that could be outmaneuvered, if he gets flanked and that kind of thing, like it's really gonna struggle. Like it's just because the thing with your massive block of skeletons was, there's just combat res, they don't worry too much if you get flanked, I feel like that's the difference. What do you think these Silverhelm block is going to shape? Do you think it's going to be 10 by 2?
I was going to ask you that. Like, how do you reckon he's going to do it?
I was going to think so.
Wide? Or maybe after the last FAQ, he's going to go wide. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they're heavy cafe, so they can go 4 to get ranks, but they can only get 2 ranks.
They could go 4. Yeah, he could go.
Hang on. Can you get 2?
5 by 4?
Get 1 still. What's the max for heavy?
Yeah, I think it'd be 1.
+1, isn't it? Yeah, so it's.
I think it'd be +1.
You might as well just go. You wouldn't want to go more than 1 rank, really, unless you just had a couple of extras, just for wounds to hold the rank.
Yeah.
It's going to be 2 by 10. It's going to be huge. No, I don't know.
That would be hilarious, though. Yeah, if you played
the wider
big,
it is,
fat,
the harder
wide
it is to
harbor.
get around it.
Yeah. True. I would like to clarify the maximum rank bonus. Yeah, have cover. Yeah, +1 is the max. Yeah, you're right. So there's no benefit to being any deeper than 2 by 10,
unless you just want a couple. Like if you went 8 wide and you had a few in the back. Just for
but
because he's only got 1 character on mount.
I really. If you've only got 2 units to deploy, you've got to have space to put them down 10 wide.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that way you're just getting extra attacks when you charge.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you would then. I feel like that's the way you play it, right? Probably wouldn't
think so.
go wider than 10.
Yeah.
Like,
more chance.
wider than 10 is too ridiculous. And I feel like most TOs are more increasingly going to put in packs. Maximum width 10. Like for most units, surely that's going to be a common sort of comp. But that was the couple of lists that I picked up. I guess we can't really go through all of them, can we? Because otherwise we're going to be here all night.
No, probably. Yeah, I need to. I'm actually flying to Brisbane tomorrow. I have to get up at like 4:30. So
are you? You get up at 4:30? That's like 5 hours.
Yeah,
Dedication.
I don't have much. I don't
Yeah,
have
he
much
loves
tomorrow.
it.
It's fine.
We should have done this last night, man. Out too late.
Yeah, I got back too late. Yeah. It's all my fault. It's all good. Don't worry, it was all self-inflicted.
Yeah.
I'll just pick one. I had a couple of Tomb King ones, but then the cool thing about the Tomb King ones that were here were, so I should say there's like 3 or 4 Beastman ones. I'm just not qualified to comment on them. I started looking at them, but
I can't believe how many Beastman lists are in
yeah,
here.
is it 3 or
yeah,
4?
I think it was 3. I think
Okay.
it was
Yeah, that's
4.
I
cool.
think
it was
it's
3.
free. Yeah.
But yeah, I also am impressed at how many there are, but also completely unqualified to comment on their quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do some study on Beastman.
Yeah, so
You
the
definitely need to study
Untitled
up before the
Beastman,
weekend because you're probably going to
faction.
beat.
Yeah.
You're probably going to battle.
Yeah, you're going
at
to play
least
some
one
of them, Andrew, so you can
You're
tell
gonna
us
At
play
what
least
you like
one.
next
Yeah,
week.
for sure.
Yeah.
But the 2, I think there was 2 Tomb King, and they both took the armies of infamy, which is interesting.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, unless there's a third one, I don't know, but I think there's only 2 that in here so far. This Anthony one is the Nehekar and Raw Host one, which I thought was interesting, just because he's got he's got 3 chariots, like 3 lots of 3, but 2 of them are Tomb Guard chariots. So he's got 2 Tomb Kings in there on chariots. So I'm assuming they're going to be, that's his hitters, so to speak. But then he's got this skeleton infantry cohort that's 66 all up with poison. So 36 warriors and 27 archers in there. So they can all do the firing from the back ranks with the volley fire and stuff, but all poison. And if you hit them, they've got poison as well because they've got the.
Ouch.
And this is the best you can get in this list. You can get the champ can take 30 or 50 points of magic, so he can get the amulet of the serpent. Whereas usually you got to give that to like a herald or something. But so you just can't kill this. This thing's always going to have poison because it'll just raise it back up.
Yeah.
So
He picks the amulet back up when he gets raised.
yeah. Yeah, so you just because the champ's the first thing to come back, well, heroes and stuff, but then the champ. So it's the best way to do it. But you can only do that in this list because it's got more for some reason on the skeleton infantry cohort. He's also got the chariot.
I can't believe that
runners on
unit
the
is
horse
365,
archers.
by the way. Like for a unit of
Yeah.
60 dudes for the only to be
That is
under
cheap.
400 points. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, go on. Go on.
I was just saying he's got the chariot runners on the skeleton horse archers too. So that would be interesting to see how he utilize. I've never seen anyone really utilize that. Especially up to the FAQ that you literally definitely can just charge through them. You can even not have line of sight. And you can still charge through. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Ooh, you sharp.
He's got the 4 sharpties, just normal guys. I don't know. And then 1 screaming skull catapult. So I don't know. I don't know much about this particular build of it. So I don't know if there's some strategy around those selections or they're just stuff that, he wants a little bit more. Screaming skull catapult, obviously, just because of the leadership debuff on that as well. But he doesn't have... he's got necromancy on a level 2, but obviously this army is not going to be pushing magic at you because it's only a level 1 and a level 2. Yeah, I'm not sure about these normaler sharpties. Like I would have taken bow ones, but I don't know. Maybe they are better with the ritual blade. I don't know. I just feel like the bow ones work better because you just reach out and touch you without having to do much. The normaler sharpties aren't that.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're just like toughness 4, 3 wounds. They still die. I don't know. But I guess you can raise them back. Simon Kwok, though, has taken a mortuary priest one. And obviously he's a
so that's
really
the
good
other-
player.
That's the other arcane list.
Yeah, and he's taken a mortuary priest. Well, I'm pretty sure it is because he's got the... No, it must be. Yeah, it is because he's got the Arc Necrotect. This guy's interesting in a weird way in the sense that he's supposed to be a better Necrotect, but I don't think he's a normal Necrotect. So he doesn't get... Like, he's got the poison thing and he's got a burning sword. So I'm guessing he's going in with the big unit of archers to give him poison. But he's also this. He's like the Arch Necrotect special thing is a plus D3 initiative. Like when you roll the leadership, like it's not the hatred things. I'm not
Oh,
totally
okay.
sure, unless I missed something, what's so good about the Arc Necrotech. So I haven't really looked at this. I haven't looked at the Tomb Kings, I haven't played with them, I should say. The Armies of Infamy, so it'd be interesting to see what the strategy of having him versus a normal Necrotech is. Then he's got the High Priest level 4 on the Bone Dragon. Curse Weave 1 just allows you to, cast the hexes better. It. I don't know. Like, I think the Tomb King meta is out still on whether or not the High Priest should be on the Bone Dragon or not. I'm not sure. It's just Necromancy doesn't seem to have great assailment spells, so
Yeah.
Don't know. Maybe it's more points denial. But he does have the cool thing with this list, though. He's got the Terrors Below is basically these constructs and stuff that can come up, like the Tomb Scorpions and the Necroserpents with the Terrors Below rule. Basically, enemy unit within 8 has to take a number of initiative tests, sort of like the old, not Dwellers, but one of those ones, initiative test for whatever the unit strength of that entombed or ambushing unit is. Otherwise, they just die. So that's a pretty
That could be
cool,
in trouble.
yeah, that's a pretty cool, like, especially for only infantry and heavy infantry and stuff, like not like dragons and stuff. But to come up against, say, like your your Trollhammer torpedo dudes and stuff. Like, if one of these came up, that next serpent's unit strength 12. That's 12 initiative tests you got to take.
Yeah.
You can wipe
Bye-bye,
a unit out, basically.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting to see how he plays with them, because they've all got it. I think the Terrors Below, he's added it on. Oh no, he's only added it on one Tomb Scorpion, and the Necroserpents have it. And then he's got the Poison Archers, 3 lots of units of 5 Horse Archers. Some of these just skeleton skirmishers, and more Tomb Swarms. I think the Tomb Swarms. The other thing with this list is the guys can cast. They can basically pull wounds off like Tomb Swarms and the constructs to add them to their casting rolls. I think it is. So they can just like try and shove spells through, by killing their own dudes and then just raising them back again. So that'd be interesting to see. Yeah. I don't know. I sort of feel, again, Simon Croc's like a billion times better player than me, so I have no idea. But I was just wondering is there a reason why the Necromancy's on that guy versus on the Illusion maybe being on the High Priest? I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, because then he's got, I don't know. It feels like Illusion. I don't know. I don't know. He's going for terror bombing. He's got Casket of Skulls as well. So being able to push through those Necromancy spells with Casket of Souls, and then he's got the Terrors coming in with the Dragon and the Necrosphinx. So he's still got some, a bit of punch there for sure. Plus the Poison Archers raining down on you, and then Tomb Scorpions coming up the back with these Necroserpents. So it's going to be one of these lists that can just be having stuff all over the board fairly quickly, if you know what I mean, in all different areas.
Yeah. Those archers are going to cause heaps of drama.
Yeah.
And then, just chaff everywhere just to slow you down.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's Tomb Swarms, like 3 lots of these Skeleton Horse Archers and the Skirmishers, which now I can't remember. They just get scoured automatically. You have to buy that. I can't remember. I think you had to buy the Ambusher on them, but they're just drops probably. Unless they get it. I can't remember if they get it for free, if it's not listed here. No, it looks interesting. It's just, I guess, overall, quickly before we wrap up the show, I was surprised that there wasn't as many monsters, and B, just.
Well, speaking of monsters, there is one more list I was quickly wanting to briefly mention. If you go back down to where you were before, to Simon Croc's list, just across from that, there's Paddy's list with a wood elf list with a little forest dragon hidden in there, and it relates to the FAQ as well, right? So she's got a Glade Captain on a Warhawk, which is BSB, a Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon, and he's got the Annoyance and Netlings, which it used to be 6s to hit in a challenge in 6th ed, but it's -1 to hit in challenges now, which is much less brutal. Spirit Twilight, which is I think its strength is used 2 AP, but always wounds on a 3-up, which is a pretty good thing. And I think it might have Killing Blow in there too, actually. Yeah, Killing Blow magical attacks, but it always wounds on a 3-up. So that's a nice combination of that with the AP. But interestingly, the Relarian's Mantle, it's a light armor, and it gives him, I think it's a 4-up ward. Yeah, it's a 4-up ward as long as they're within 6 inches of a forest.
Right.
Now it's interesting because the dragon comes with plate armor, and before the FAQ, you could have gotten away with a 3-up save, or 4-up save with a 4-up ward
with the 4-up ward
within the forest. But now suddenly with the FAQ, suddenly it's a light armor. It's probably still okay because you got a 4-up ward as long as you're within a forest, but it's definitely not as good as it was, as a combo. But yeah, she's also got a level 4 tree man on battle magic. Just the one tree man in the list, sticking to the old 6-ed rule.
She doesn't like the double treatment. I mean, she probably would love to run the double treatment.
She could. But I mean, it's a different game. It's not 6-ed anymore. Like, tree men are definitely not as good as they were in 6-ed. They're only 5 strength, strength 5, and Anyway, then she got a couple of Deepwood Scout units with Swish River Shard. She's got 2 units of Dryads of 9 Dryads, I think.
Is Swish River the multi-shot? Multi-shot one, sorry. It's the Hagbane's poison.
So she's got a unit of 10 Glade Guard with full command of Hagbane, which is a poison. 2 units of War Dancers, I think it's units of 7 with full command again, and then a unit of 6 Wild Riders. So I think it's a pretty good list, really. It's quite mobile, especially the Warhawk and the Dragon. And the Wild Riders hit really hard as they did in 8th edition. I think the War Dancers are good.
And then the Deepwood Scouts
shooting
wherever you need them.
A good amount of shooting. I think it's a good mixture of stuff. But it was more just interesting to see how the Dragon goes with that change in the rules. Anyway, I think that's pretty good. Guys. I am.
How do I turn this?
Feel like I've unloaded my frustration of not being able to talk to you anyone about Warhammer.
I want to. Why can't they hear me? Awesome. Hopefully, people enjoyed us all back. We might give it a wrap though, because it is getting a bit late here, and I have to get this pod out so I can get up on a plane tomorrow morning.
Gummo's got to get up in the morning.
Hopefully, might catch up with ASB if he's around for a beer tomorrow.
In Brisbane.
So there we go.
Tomorrow. Nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna turn the recorder on while you guys are chatting.
I don't know. We could
have a microphone.
Anything, who knows?
Maybe.
Got a phone. Might be able to.
Got a phone. Yeah.
So I'll hit him up in the morning just to confirm, because I know with kids and stuff it's always a challenge, but that's cool. But otherwise, I'll good luck, Andrew, on the weekend. If we don't talk to you before then, I guess.
Thank you.
And then I'm
it's 4
away
games over 2 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
2 and 2.
3 hours each game. Thank goodness. I'll need it.
Yeah, 3 hours. Nice. Very luxurious. So you're away next weekend as well.
Yeah, so you guys do the wrap up, I guess, of Shirecon or something. That'd be cool, and I'll get to listen to it.
Yeah, I can interview Andrew about his successes at Shirecon.
I can bring the wooden spoon. I'll show everyone.
That's awesome. I might give it a wrap though, guys. Thanks everyone for listening to another episode of Old World Fanatics. Just remember, if you want to support us, you can hit the like and subscribe on YouTube or on your podcast software of choice. And obviously we've got our patrons there on patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. Hit us up on all the socials at Old World Fanatics. Basically we're pretty active out there, especially on YouTube. So always welcome any comments and criticisms on our videos. We always try to correct them where we can as well. So thanks for listening to another episode, and until next time, guys, we'll talk to you later.
Yes,
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Ciao.